All right, that's good. And this looks good as well. All right. Well, it's on. We'll see if anybody pops in. In about, I don't know, like 15 minutes, we'll probably have other people come on the air tonight and, just chit-chat around. Hey, a notification even. That's always a plus. Boot this back. There we go. What's up, Abe? How's it going? Hopefully you're doing well. What's up, Hockey? Or what's up, Daniel? How's it going? It's been a pretty decent day in terms of like random news. Yeah, the Pro Bowl is flag football now. Yeah. That's what they're doing. Yeah, it's a flag football game. I think that's probably a better alternative to what it was, where everybody just didn't want to play because they didn't want to get hurt. So I guess we'll see. What's up, Luke? How you doing? I just kind of have this background up for just kind of like a general stream background. I don't have any agenda with it. It's not a bad idea. I don't know. Yeah, my fucking nose is so itchy right now. It'll stop itching after a second. But boy, is it bothering the fuck out of me. It is what it is, though, right? We move on. Brian Schottenheimer was hired as the Cowboys' new offensive coordinator. There was an update with Evero. I don't know how to say his first name. From Denver, where he's not going to be back as the defensive coordinator. He's on to newer pastures, probably with the Vikings. Kind of whatever. There's no real agenda. Man, my fucking nose, dude. All right, there we go. Hopefully that I hope that solves the itch, dude. It's like right on the rim of my nostril. It's like the most obnoxious place for a nose to be itchy. There's like no good way to scratch it where it doesn't look like you're picking your nose unless you like obnoxiously go like this across it. And then it rubs my mustache across my nose and it gets even itchier. And it's like, son of a bitch, dude. It's the one drawback of a lot of facial hair is you get like very itchy, like random spots. What's up, Barry? Well, yeah, pretty much anything, Luke. I don't know. Could be baseball, football, just kind of general world things. I don't know. I don't really have a strict subject today. When people come on the air in like, I don't know, like 10 minutes or so, could be a little bit interesting to see where the conversation might head to. Again, I don't think there was enough news for my like personal liking to do like a very specified or specific type of stream tonight. So I'm like, just whatever comes up, just kind of feels like a decent thing to talk about. And damn, you guys start late in the semester. It's already February. Again, I think you said you go to like a private college though, so that kind of makes a bit of sense. Off to a good start with 5 likes. If you haven't dropped one, be sure to do so. It helps the stream out. You know, it might get a few more people in here. We'll see. But it is nice. It's polite. Helps the stream out. You know, all the fun stuff. The Thunder are destroying the Rockets. Yeah, makes sense. You guys go to May 25th. Yeah, I graduate on like May 5th. Like I get my diploma and everything. I'm done by like early in May. So there's a slight difference on all that. I mean, I went into the real world, then I was like, this sucks, and then I went back to college. I'm probably just gonna chill for a year, just work at a shitty job. I don't really care where I work. And then I'll probably head up to for a PhD or something. I don't really plan on leaving academia. I'm just taking a year out because I fucking I don't want to deal with that right away. I'm a very patient person on this kind of stuff. Yeah, the Super Bowl should be all right. You seen the new Tom Brady movie? Yeah, I've heard it's an all right movie, the 80 for Brady. I've heard it's all right. I haven't heard anyone say it's like a terrible movie. Mostly what I've heard, it's way better than you think it's gonna be for some reason. And it's like, really? It's actually not a bad movie? And everyone's like, yeah, it's like surprisingly good. It's like, oh, is that good or is that bad? Or do we all just assume this was going to be a dog shit movie? And then it's like, well, actually, it's a pretty good, like it's a pretty solid movie. It's not great, probably not even good, but it's like way better than we thought it was going to be. I think it's like loaded with like good actresses though, and like so I'm like, it probably can't be that bad. Like I think looking at the cast, I was like, I don't know, it can't be that bad. The plot's a little stupid, but at least it's an original movie. Jesus Christ. At least it's not like a remake of Tropic Thunder, but it's a little less racist than the first time it got made. Like, yeah, like there's like actual like actresses in there, and it's like an original idea, and it didn't fall flat on its face. Just a plethora of decent things. Well, I don't know if we're actually going to keep the stream going if only 3 people are going to be here. That means there's only 2 people here. I think it's Ape. Maybe. He might have dipped. And Daniel Barry at this point. And I think Jeremy. So if that's the case, then we won't be live for too long. No offense to you guys, but it's like, there's like 20 other things I could do on a Saturday night than do this. But hey, we'll see how it gets. We'll see how it goes after like 20 minutes. And if there's not enough reason to stream, then I'm just not going to do it. Because it's like, what the hell am I doing? I'm going to stream to nobody saying anything for 80% of the stream. No offense to you guys, but you guys aren't, the heaviest talkers for the majority of the stream. In the beginning you are, which is nice, but like, it gets rather slow. Trent Williams, as you can see there, he's not retiring, though he was kind of hinting that he's considering it. Now he's like, he's back. Guess he thought about it for like a day or two and then went, nah, I'm not ready yet. It's not quite time. I don't know. What have you guys been up to lately? Anything exciting? I don't know. We're still a week away from the Super Bowl. Like we're still a week away from, or a day away from being a week away from the Super Bowl being played. So it feels like we're just kind of like in this weird dead period of football, unless you like really enjoy the Pro Bowl, which nobody does. So, birthday's coming up. Nice. 20. That's not, that's pretty exciting, I guess. Had to stay home for a week. That kind of sucks. What's up, Troy? Welcome to another pretty dead stream for whatever reason tonight. Yeah, but the thing is, nobody really wants to try at the Pro Bowl if it's tackle football, because who wants to get hurt? Like, nobody does. So I don't know. I don't really know how the NFL can really have an all-star game. I guess like skill competitions are cool, but it's like, is that really worth all the hassle to do that? To be like, this guy's the best precision passer. Oh, cool. Except, like, you know, the two guys in the quarterback in the Super Bowl never get to go to the actual thing. I don't know. It feels like if they moved it back after the Super Bowl, it would make a lot more sense. Mainly because you could get, you know, the two Super Bowl teams who are usually loaded with Pro Bowl talent. For example, I think when the Eagles like made the Super Bowl, I think like 7 guys withdrew from the Pro Bowl like instantaneously. They're like, "Oh, we're all out," and it's like, well, there goes like the NFC's best offense. They're just done now. They're not participating, and a number of very good defensive backs. Yeah, their All-Star game is awful because it's meaningless and no one wants to do it because they just played a really rough season. And nobody wants to get like a torn ACL because they were trying too hard at the fucking Pro Bowl. Let's just hope that the flag football is enough to save it, because if not, then it's just dead. There's no way to fix that. And again, I don't really think anyone's super interested in watching the Pro Bowl this year. I don't even know when it is. The actual day. Is it tonight? I don't even know what day the Pro Bowl is on. I'm guessing it's tomorrow because Sunday, that would make the most sense, but I think it's just on a belt and you just can rip the little tapes off the sides. I don't think it's like one you actually rip off. I think they're like little flags on the sides of the belts. Yeah, they kind of already accounted for like cheaters, Ape. They're like, yeah, I think people are gonna cheat, so they just put little flags on them. So it's kind of irrelevant how tight you tie the thing. As long as you knot it on there, it probably ain't coming off. So that's not a big deal. But I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of like these guys are going to get the flags took off really easily. It's not like these guys got super fast hands. So it's, I don't know. I feel like this is not going to be a very exciting thing. Yeah, that's how they do it pretty much all the way through. I think there's no real better way to do it than like a little flag thing you put on with some Velcro straps on it. Can't imagine they do anything different at the this level. Maybe they wear a vest with them attached, so they're a little like harder to rip off. That could make sense. Actually, that would make a little bit more sense than we're thinking about like these fucking dudes who can like move their hands at really way too quick speeds at the waist level. It's like, I don't know. I feel like that's not going to be very exciting. Because it's like, what are they going to do? Take 10 steps and get a flag ripped off by a lineman every time? Well, there's no lineman. All right, then one of the defensive backs grabs at the flag and just takes it. Not like they're not strong enough to just go tink. Off goes like the probably whole belt. I don't know. Maybe it's a good time. Maybe it's a great game and we're all going to miss out. It's tomorrow. Maybe we'll watch the Pro Bowl game just for something to watch, something to do. Something with a wee bit more entertainment value. What time is it? Let's see. Sunday, 3 p.m. What a terrible time. Oh, it's the whole Sunday thing. Okay. There's the skills. Well, when's the actual game? Oh, okay, here we go. The Pro Bowl game is at 3 o'clock. Okay. Oh, there's 3 different games? Or is it like a best of 3? That's actually kind of cool. Looks like it's going to be some weird best of 3 format going on. About hour long, about 50-minute games, it looks like. Maybe 45-minute games. That's kind of a interesting way to look at that, I guess. A little different. I think that's what all the skills challenges has been all week. Like they've been doing like all kinds of weird skill events, just kind of just seeing what sticks, what doesn't. Yeah, I think they're just doing all kinds of random shits. Yeah, I might cover this then. I don't know. It was only an hour and maybe 2 or 3 hours. Not long at all. Could be highly entertaining. Yeah, they did the dodgeball already as well. I think that was like a day or two ago on Thursday. Yeah, they haven't done a very good job at like advertising this for whatever reason. Like anywhere. It's just kind of like it'll just be like the day of, and they're like, by the way, we got some shit going on today, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Would have been good to know. Feels like that would have been pertinent information to give us, but you know, it is what it is. I completely forgot the Pro Bowl was even a thing. I mean, yeah, it's hard to forget that it's a thing. I don't know about all that. That's pretty crazy. You just forgot like the NFL's All-Star system existed. Like, what is this PB next to their name? What is that, personal best? They've been to 3 PBs. What the fuck is that? What is a Pro Bowl? Why do they put that stat up there next to their names? Like they list that on like player like introductions and shit. Oh, 3-time Pro Bowler. Or do you just think it was like a what was it, like an award title? Like it's like, oh, you know, you have a title. You're a Pro Bowler. You're an All-Star. Oh, all right. What does that mean in the NFL? Like nothing. You just get some extra money. And it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I get a little pay raise. Why do guys give this up? But it's pretty understandable. It's one of the things you could, like, the game is so bad, it's understandable to forget there was a game. Yeah, no, I forgot it was this week as well. I was just like, oh yeah, it's Pro Bowl week. I forgot about that. Feels like no one gives a shit about it. Because again, no one really cares about the Pro Bowl anymore. It's like a dead event, for whatever reason anyway. But you know. Again, I think it's because the league has gotten so business oriented. Like the players like understand that if they get hurt, they're gonna get in trouble. Like they're fucked. Like it's one of them situations. They'll probably they'll miss a season probably if it's a bad injury. Like none of it's worth it. At least back in the day, people used to not skip out on the Pro Bowl because it was at least after the Super Bowl and like the best players could still show up, you know, Super Bowl champions. And at least like hang out and they all get a cool vacation. Yeah, nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to be tackled. Yeah, they had that this year as well on Thursday. And those are pretty cool. I will say like the skill stuff is pretty fun. But it's like, again, why can't you just move that to back after the Super Bowl so we can have like Mahomes and them finally get a chance at showing up to one of these? I'm sure some of these other players who have to go to the Super Bowl would be like, yeah, we would have loved to have been Pro Bowlers that year. During our like all of our career years. Yeah, we had to turn it down. A pretty big honor that most players probably dreamt about when they were kids to get a chance to be called a Pro Bowler, but they had to turn it down because they're playing in the Super Bowl. Nah, I don't know. I'd get bored. I'd be like, oh, this is taking a long time. Saying stuff you're not supposed to say out loud. I'd be like, holy shit, this is dull. I stopped caring 4 people ago. Yeah, it'd be a little bit more entertaining maybe to watch them play a game of pickup basketball. Not baseball. I don't think a lot of them guys would be too good at baseball, but pickup basketball would be pretty solid. Oh, I know, stud. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably do these games tomorrow. Maybe. It'd be kind of fun. Basketball would be funny. Would be fun to watch. Baseball, I don't think so, because there's too many guys that would be way better at baseball than a bunch of guys. Like, do you know what I mean? It'd be like a ringer situation, where I think they'd probably all be pretty decent at basketball, like anybody in the Pro Bowl, right? Like, you know, they're all pretty good athletes. They can all jump really well, and they could all probably dunk, or at least get very, very close. But like some of these guys have probably never played baseball, and a lot of NFL players could have probably also gone pro in baseball. So like you have this weird spectrum, right? Where it's like if they go play baseball, the guys who can already play baseball at like probably at the MLB level, had they gone to the MLB, that's not fair. Again, I think even like some middling wide receivers could make like a 15-man roster in the NBA with just like pure athletic ability alone. Like they can run faster than most of those guys. They could probably jump a little higher than a lot of those guys. Probably just physically stronger, just more durable than a lot of those guys. But that's why they, play football and shit. I would rather chase my shadow than watch the Pro Bowl. I don't understand how it's a popularity contest. Yeah, nobody really cares about it anymore. I think it's just the players like the honor of getting to be Pro Bowlers. Wow, apparently this year had NFL players play Madden. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, they're trying to keep it relevant and, like, make it fun, but they just, like, can't seem to crack the code. And the code is to just put it back after the Super Bowl. I guarantee that fixes 80% of the complaints go away if it's back after the Super Bowl, because people will be like, oh, all right, that feels right. Why are we risking this? Why do we do this? I just don't get the timing of the games. It's like, why do we do this before the Super Bowl? Like, what's missed from doing it after the Super Bowl? What's the big deal? Do we not like want the two teams representing the Super Bowl, like the AFC and the NFC in the Super Bowl? Do we not want those guys in the Pro Bowl? Seems like cutting out the two conferences teams' best players and being like, nah, they shouldn't show up. Because, like, imagine you go to the Pro Bowl and you play for the Eagles and you get fucking, like, you slip and you break your leg or something. Or, like, you not even something bad. You, like, break a finger and you can't play in the Super Bowl. Or you got to wear a big-ass fucking hand cast. And you're kind of shitty the game for it. You're like, damn it. Like, you're a dickhead for going and doing that. Meanwhile, if it would have just been after the season and you broke your finger play at the fucking around at the Pro Bowl, oh, well, it's like a shitty month. It's just like, oh, well, I'm not doing anything anyway. I don't give a fuck. I'm literally not moving for the next 3 weeks. I might heal faster than I think. A lot of those guys, you have to imagine, like, they go into, like, some probably weird healing sessions when the season ends. Their bodies are probably fucking just tore up. Half those guys are limping around in like the last 4 weeks of the season. It's just like, that doesn't look good. Baseball, basketball, and hockey play so many games that putting it in the middle of the season is exciting. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Baseball, and you don't really, it's not as dangerous. And hockey players are just kind of built a little different. They don't give a fuck. It's just whatever. It's like, if we die, we die. That's part of our culture as a sport. And baseball players can play all year. That's the secret. Like, you may think baseball players are kind of lazy and unathletic. Like the like weird secret about baseball players, of 162 games, the really good players go in 154. It's just like, and the only reason they didn't go 162 is because their dickhead coaches didn't let them play 162. A lot of those guys go after the season ends. They'll maybe take like a week off and then immediately put themselves into a fall baseball league and just go shit on some people in fucking fall baseball leagues for the entire winter. Just until they go back to camp. Baseball players are fucking animals when it comes to their like longevity and durability. Some of them just never stop. They pick up the bat at about 5 years old, and until they retire at like 41, they're like, I just never stopped playing baseball. Just, what do you mean you never stopped? Well, I played all kinds of winter baseball and like spring baseball and fall balls, and yeah, some of them guys never stop. Like they just a lot of pitchers will go like fuck if they can play like defense. A lot of pitchers will take the off season because their arms got to heal up. But like maybe it's like a month for a lot of guys. Like they'll take a month off and then go pitch and then take a month off, then pitch, then take a month off and then go to camp. It's just like, all right, well, I'm ready. You don't really like. I don't know if baseball is the best sport to like sit in, like to not play. It seems like you could lose a lot when you're like playing baseball if you take a bunch of time off. I would say 95% of players who aren't all-stars go and play in minor league or like fall leagues. I would say not like 95% of pro baseball players do that. They have to be specifically told by the team not to do it. It's just like, or else they're going to go do it. Like, they'll have to be like, dude, we'll give you $1 million if you fucking just sit at home or just, like, come practice. All right. If you say so and shit. If I have a bad season, this is because of you people. And just like, all right, that's a little extreme. Calm the fuck down. Psycho. Football players, though, I don't know. I think football has, like, the roughest sport. I'll be honest. Again, baseball may play a lot of games, but again, I don't think the players really give a fuck. Some guys might, but again, that's like anyone like 33 and older gives a shit. Anybody like from 20 to 33, 34, maybe even 36, as the, you know, age you're able to play longer gets older, I don't think they give a shit. Like, I don't think the length of games or any of it. They all got really bothered when they were only going to play 60. You notice that with baseball? They're like, we only get to play 60. What's the point? It's just... You remember that shit? Like, they were pissed off. They were like, we could do 120. And the MLB owners were like, there's no actual way we could do 120. We'll just do double headers the whole time. And the owners were like, you guys won't want to do that. We know you a little better than yourselves. You guys don't want to do what you're suggesting you want to do. Yeah, we do. We want to do 2 9-inning double headers every day. No, you don't. You fucking stupid liars. We know you don't. Why? Because when you had to do double headers, you guys would bitch like motherfuckers. You hated that shit. They hate double headers, though. I know that. Because it's the way the coaches go, because they can't play both games. The players who get to play both games in the double headers never say anything. They're like, oh, I love double headers. Why? I get to play 18 innings of baseball starting at 1 o'clock, ending at like 11. What do you? I get to have the greatest day ever. No, there's MLB ran fall leagues that are very well they're these leagues that are like really ghetto and shitty, but they're very well funded. Because like there's an Arizona fall league that I think like the MLB funds like very heavily. There's a fall league down in Curacao. There's one down in Curacao in South America. Where like there's a growing baseball thing. Chile, there's one. I think there's one in Brazil. There's probably several in Brazil. There's tons in Venezuela. There's every all over South America. There's goddamn like fucking fall baseball leagues they go to. Arizona's where most of the American players go, though. I think there's like 1 million Arizona fall baseball leagues. What up, Kenny? Pretty cool. Yeah, no, washed up players, yeah, that's always hilarious. Yeah, they never quit playing. That's what I love about baseball players. They just keep playing. They'll be like, I'll just go play in a softball league now. I'm done. Gonna go dominate for a while, hit some home runs. I hit like 6 in my MLB career. I'm about to go hit like a home run every at bat in this fucking fall league. Really? Yeah. It's going to be good. You watched 80 for Brady? It seems like a couple people have come through and said that tonight. Everyone's just like, hey, tonight was the night everybody decided at the same time to go see 80 for Brady. It was good? That's what everybody keeps saying. You know what? Not one person I've met yet has said it's a bad movie. Or I haven't seen bad reviews. It's one of the more fascinating things about that movie. It's because everybody thought it was going to be a terrible, shitty-ass movie. Like everybody, almost every person did, it seems like. It was one of them things where everyone's like, why are they making this god-awful movie? And then they made this god-awful movie. And now everybody's like, oh, damn it, this movie's actually pretty fun. What is this? Why do we like this? And again, I think it's because it's an original movie with decent actors in it. And it feels probably like a fresh movie, that it's just not very serious. It's probably very low stakes. There's probably no like big drama. It seems like 4 old ladies go watch a Super Bowl. It just like that's the big connection in the movie, and they're all rather old. Like that's the plot. I feel like I don't think there's any melodrama in the movie. So I don't know. I can see why people would be like, "Oh, this is a fun idea." I need to watch it. Well, I don't really like movies like that. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be real with you. Those are movies that are not made for people like me. I like that they're making movies about Brady and Brady's life, right? But a movie that stars 4 old women is not for old Rob to go watch. Old Rob would be like, this is gay. And I'd get up and leave, and I'd be very angry I spent money to go see that. I'd probably go ask for a refund. I'd be like, listen, I only sat through the opening credits. All right, I had to get the fuck out of there. I didn't know what I was getting into. It's like, wait, you didn't even see the movie? Yeah, them credits really bothered me. I knew what that was. I was like, wait a minute. They don't put these kind of credits in normal movies. And I got up and left. So I'd like a refund or at least a different ticket. You got any cool movies playing? You got any like Insidious type movies out right now? I like ghost movies. Those are hilarious. Do you guys laugh at those kind of movies? Like what the fuck is this? Like the Conjuring movie when they put on them like demon face people. I'm like, well, dude, why do they look so terrible funny? Like the Conjuring, it was like they were up in some booth and there was like some Darth Maul looking guy like playing a piano or sharpening his fingers. I couldn't tell what he was doing. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is hilarious. And they're like, this little boy can go to sleep and go to different places, but actually he's getting drug into demon land. And it's like, well, that's pretty scary. And they're like, yeah, and in here the demons can take you over unless you like say their first name, and then they have no power. And it's like, what a oddly specific weakness demons have. That seems pretty gay. Imagine you're an all-powerful demon who like defied death, and they're like, yeah, but if I say your name, Smith, and the demon's like, oh, you got me. And just how'd you find out my easily find outable name? I don't know. And they never have a common name. It's always some like sinister ass demon name like Valak or like Bathsheba. And you're like, yeah, that's the easiest name to ever remember. It's just like, yeah, and it's haunted by this ghost Valak. And it's like, all right, I just got to remember that name. I'm going to go fight this thing. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing the Pro Bowl tomorrow. I'm thinking about it, Jacob. I think it might be fun to watch. I don't know. I don't know. I like the idea of flag football. I wonder how they're going to execute it. I think that's better than what it normally could be. Normally nobody gives a shit in the Pro Bowl. Nobody tries. It's kind of like a dead effort game. It's just bad usually. Like the movie was a real story. Oh, that's probably another thing. It felt probably, yeah. It was, I think it was based off a real, like a very real story, and that's why it probably felt very real. Am I ready for next Sunday? Yeah, it should be good. You know, about as ready as I'll ever be. You're already ready for next season? Like, I can't wait for next season. I'm excited. I don't know. Next year will be fun. I don't know what the Patriots are going to be. I have expectations, I think, next year finally for the first time in a minute about my team. But you're already done with school. Sheesh. It's a short school year. Did you graduate or something? Like graduate early? I could have finished high school early, but the problem was I wanted to play baseball my last like the way I went to trimesters, and I could have been done with high school after trimester 2, right? I was accepted into college. I literally had all the credits. I was 1 credit over, actually, because I transferred schools, and somehow I had this weird birth of credits where I only needed like 1.5 trimesters worth of classes, and I was all finished. And so like I could have been done, but I wanted to play baseball, so I had to fucking stick around. I finished high school with like 4 credits over what maybe 5, 6 credits more than what I needed. I was fucking looking like a genius. I was like, yeah, you know, I just got a big ass brain. It is what it is. Lillard 40 at loss. Oh, he had a loss? Yeesh. Thunder put up 153. What I see is a 50 burger. Okay. At XFL starting in 2 weeks. Yep, after the Super Bowl. I can go to Sunday night, Thursday night, and Monday night games next season. Nice. Oh, I thought you said you were done with school already this year, as in like 2020. Like, yeah, I'm already done for the year. It's already, you mean you graduate in May or June, whenever your school lets out. I got you. Any thoughts on Brady? Just, you know, normal thoughts. Nothing different. What do you mean? Pretty sure my thoughts on Brady are well known. I don't have to repeat them at this juncture. That'd just be like, all right, let's just whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I mean, nothing new. Same old, same old. Hopefully he does good commentating. Really hope he doesn't become Tony Romo and everybody gets sick of the guy. It's like, please, oh man, and if he's not as good as Greg Olsen was, he's fucked. That's what I think right now. I'm worried about the commentating. I'm already on to the next part of rooting for Tom Brady. You guys got to understand, I move on quick. He said he retired. It's like, all right, Tom, what are you doing next? I got to be able to support you. I got to, you know, fucking look out for my guy out there because, you know, I ain't going to play this game. People turn quick on these announcers, and I ain't going to let it happen. You guys don't understand. I'm about to defend this guy's commentating career. People say he's not the greatest commentator. Well, we'll find out next year. I bet you he's far better than 80, 90% of the only one I'm worried about is this Greg Olsen guy. He's pretty fucking good at what he was doing there. I was like, uh-oh. He's what they call a natural. They might replace Tony with him. They might just be like, all right, Tony, take the money, get the fuck out of our building. All right, we're bringing over Greg Olsen, who's a free agent now. They become Bucks fans at the end? Oh, you shouldn't have gave that away. That feels like a spoiler, Kenny. Who? Brady? No, he's Fox. He was hired by Fox Sports. Nah, I don't see the unretirement. Seems unlikely. Oh, you're good. You're good. I don't plan on seeing the movie, but you might have spoiled it for people who plan on seeing the movie. You don't give away endings. And he's just like, yeah, at the end of the movie, they become Bucks fans. Like, well, Kenny, you're not supposed to spoil the movie for people. For me personally, I don't care. I spoil movies myself. So if I want to go watch a movie, I'll go read the whole plot synopsis. Be like, oh, that sounds cool as fuck. I just won't say anything to anybody. Be like, yeah, I spoiled the whole movie for myself before we went. That movie was as good as it sounded. Yeah, I've never went to a movie I didn't enjoy. Yeah, there's a secret. I may spoil movies for myself, but I also don't give a fuck. I don't want to go pay for something I'm gonna hate. Movies are like fucking $12 a ticket or something at these points. Even back when there was like, you know, $5 for matinees, I'm like, I ain't wasting my money. Except I seen Norbit in theaters probably 15 times because, you know, that was the funniest movie I had ever seen in my entire life at that point. And if you've never seen the movie Norbit, you can't comment on how funny the movie is. Eddie Murphy played like every role in that movie. What's up, Jags? If Joe Buck didn't leave Fox, we would have had a legendary duo, Buck and Brady. Now we get a better duo. I think Kevin Harlan and Brady are going to be really good. $9.50? Yeah, that's not bad. $10. $9.50, $10. It's not bad for a movie ticket. I'm glad movie companies decide to stop the streaming stuff. They're like, let's just quit doing that. It's like, yeah, just bring back the movie theater so people. That's why are we gonna let that? Let's not let that die. Streaming movies at home sucks. Oh, that's a dumb thing. Nobody likes that. That's very antisocial. At this point, we shouldn't be doing that anymore. It's like, all right, let's knock some of this off, and at least, you know, movies should be probably social experiences. I've enjoyed my experience of watching certain movies at the theaters more than the movies themselves. So did you guys hear we shot down the spy balloon? They had to wait for it to get, you know, somewhere where we could shoot it into the water and then go get it. Apparently, though, I don't think there's anything really to worry about with that. Apparently, if you're to believe the government, which is, you know, you probably should in this situation. I don't think this is as big a deal as people made it out to be. They probably knew about it, Monday or Tuesday before it crossed into U.S. soil, jammed it up, then put a tracker on it. And then we're like, all right, once this thing gets over somewhere safe, we're just going to blow it up. And then we're going to take the material inside of it and then figure out the fuck kind of technology this is. And, you know, so that way it becomes a problem for the Chinese, right? If they want to continue to use that technology, we understand it fully now. Or they have to now develop new technology, which is going to set them back a little bit because that's not cheap. That's like a whole spy system that we just recovered. So yeah, it was probably the best way to do what we did. Again, it was probably jammed. If you don't think the U.S. can like quickly jam up a weather balloon with some spy equipment in it that's floating listlessly over Montana before it gets anything, I mean, really? You know, this happened like 4 times with Trump, and the reason no one cared is because they quickly fucking jammed it up and waited, and no one cared because it drifted listlessly to the sea and they shot it down. These things, like, kind of just, like, sometimes it might not even be a spy. It literally could just be a weird weather balloon at one of them weird Canadian Chinese colleges that exist. They're all over Canada. Like, this could be nothing. It could just be a weather, like a weird fucking experiment weather. Even if it's spy stuff. Probably got jammed up, did no damage. Not a big deal. Sure, there's other ways that they've been spying on us, you know. There's a whole app called Tactic or whatever they call it. Literally owned by their government. It's like, I don't know, maybe that app is a little bit more of a dangerous spy system than anything else they got. You know? Shit that can go right into your phones. Seems far more nefarious than some weather balloon. Time to ban that fucking app, by the way. We gotta get rid of that. We gotta just throw that to the curb. But whatever. Sucks because it's a good app. They could just we can make our own version. Just steal it. They steal all our shit anyway. Fuck them. What are they gonna do? Sue us? Then you guys gotta stop stealing all our technology and shit. Make our own TikTok. ban it from the United States because it needs to be. Literally, just get rid of it. Make it outlawed, and then fucking make our own version of it. Be like, all right, we bring it back Vine, and then everyone just gets Vine back, and we're like, all right, probably is better that we use an American version of whatever the hell TikTok was anyway. Probably a lot safer to not let the Chinese government have phone access to a bunch of teenagers. I don't know how all that works. I don't think they have the kind of access they want from America, but they might. I don't fucking know. I don't know if Google gives a fuck. LeBron is 36 away. Sheesh. The GOAT. So at what point can I say he's actually like better than Michael Jordan at basketball? Because like he's got way more every stats than Michael Jordan, except maybe like free throw percentage, like free throws. It's just like, yeah, that's because fucking Jordan's a little shorter and it's easier for him to shoot free throws. I'm sure if LeBron was 6'5", he could hit free throws all day too. He's fucking 6'10". When he stands, I don't know how far that is away. How far away? 20 feet away? He's literally standing over top of the rim. That's a weird thing to do. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever shot at something that you're over top of? You know, isn't it weirdly hard to like just sink every single thing that you're trying to like evenly throw something through, like a weird like straight on hoop? Like it's weird. It's like a weird angle. That's why Shaq couldn't shoot free throws either. He's too big. Like sometimes it's weird that Kevin Durant can, but Kevin Durant's like a special shooter. I don't understand him. He's broken. He's bald as shit and he's only like 34. It's just like, damn, Kev. Devin Booker, since he didn't decide to go to the Pistons, he unfortunately won't become one of the greatest of all time like he could have been. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he wasn't able to live up to the hype of, you know, taking his hometown childhood hero team to the title land. So fuck him, you know. Pistons are going to draft Bronny, and then we're going to have LeBron on the team, and he's going to win us a title. So my homering of LeBron is going to get Detroit a title one day. I don't know how that's going to pay out, but it will. It's kind of cringe that you guys don't agree that LeBron's the GOAT, but it's kind of weird. It's like, so he's like better than everybody at everything related to basketball except like the team sport aspect of winning the title. Yep. All right, so he's the best basketball player of all time. No, that other guy has 2 more rings than he does. Is that all? 2 rings? Yeah, he went 6-0. And LeBron only went 4-2. Or what is he? 4-2 in the finals? It's like, wait a minute. Or is he 4-4 or some shit? 4-3? 4-4 even? It's like, wait a minute. He played in 8 of them? 4-6. Oh, he played in 10. Oh, okay. So he played in 10. So he's played in 4 more than Jordan even played in. And he won 3 titles on 3 teams. Yeah, I mean, I guess Jordan's better because he won 3 in a row, then retired for 2 years and won 3 more, and then was never really relevant in the NBA again outside of them 6 years. But I mean, is that the only reason it's 2 titles? Again, one of the things that has always been used against me in my argument of like the way I determine best players, rings, and one of the ways that people defend Aaron Rodgers and company is, hey, rings aren't a win, dude. Rings aren't a determiner of like total talent. Dan Marino didn't win any rings, and he's one of the greatest of all times. You see that argument regularly used to defend people that rings are a team sport, except for when they're determining how much better Michael Jordan is than LeBron James, and it's like, well, Michael Jordan won 6 straight titles, so he's better than LeBron, and it's like. Or did he have better teammates than LeBron had for fucking 6 years, five for 6 years? I mean, LeBron's best teammate is fucking like Kyrie Irving, and we all know how that has played out. Well, that's been a fucking blast. Dwayne Wade, yeah, that was really good in Miami. Probably should have stayed down there and kept winning titles, but then he went back home and won them a title. That's pretty unbelievable. He won the fucking Cavaliers a title. That's I guess nothing. That's got to be the most impressive one, right? Beating the Warriors. That's one you can't even really. I don't think anyone does. Then he was almost beating the Warriors with him in like a really hobbled up Kyrie Irving and shit in some of them finals. Yeah, hobbled up versions of him. Like I don't even know if K-Love ever made it to the finals in them playoffs, and if he did, it was like, yeah, boy, he's looking pretty rough. And Kyrie, I mean, I think he was good in the one finals where he wasn't banged up at all and they won. But again, it literally took like, let's not act like the Warriors didn't have like 7 fucking good players on that team. Like, no, there's no reason the Warriors should have lost to that team. Like, let's be very honest. There's like 6, 7 good players against LeBron, the 3 of them. And again, LeBron's the best player in the NBA, so he should be able to, like, he's like 3 guys himself. I will admit that. So it's really kind of like, you know, I'm being kind of a shitlord when I do that. But when your big 3 is fucking Kevin Durant, like it's like, come on, man, that's hard. I don't think anyone can beat that. That's literally fucking cheating to beat LeBron. They built that team to beat LeBron. That fucking KD, KD, Steph, and the other one, Clay. They built that team just to beat LeBron. It's like, damn, dude. Imagine building a super team to stop one guy. That'd be crazy. You going to the game on Tuesday? Oh, you get to go to the game on Tuesday? Oh, shit. How much were the tickets to that game? Or did you already buy tickets and you're just like, I can't believe my fucking luck? Oh, but he might not. That might be too far away. He's probably going to get it in the next couple days. Because I seen some tickets that were going for like $100,000 for like the next couple games of Lakers home tickets. I think even the away games he's been at, they're going for... dog, I've seen the tickets going for like thousands of dollars, more than I've seen NBA Finals tickets going for, which is crazy to think about. But again, it's a pretty big deal, right? Like the record LeBron's about to break. Was it is it a big deal to be the all-time scoring leader in the NBA? Help me out, NBA people. I have no idea. I don't really follow basketball closely, but is that impressive for LeBron to be the all-time scoring? No, I'm just an appreciator of. I don't hate on greatness. I'm a greatness sexual. Anyone who's great at sports, I appreciate and root for them, while the masses hate on them for no particular reason. When I seen what was going on with Tom Brady for the duration of his entire career, I'm not going to ever let this, I'm never going to join those bandwagons of people who just say great players suck for no fucking reason. So I'm a big time fan of Mr. LeBron James and all the other great players that exist in the world. I like Steph Curry. I like Kevin Durant. I like the great teams and great players of the world. What's up, Paul? Mainly because everybody else hates on them, and I can't do that. That's the way of me being the shittiest version of a contrarian. I think it's the funniest way to be a contrarian too in sports, because everyone else always loves the underdogs and always roots for like the out of nowhere players. I'm like, I root for like reigning MVPs. It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, I like when teams win like 4 or 5 titles in a row and everybody hates them. I'm like, I kind of like this team a little bit. What? Yeah, I hope they win again. I hope they're doing illegal things to win too. That'd be even funnier. Yeah, I don't know what that is in my brain. I hate the term underdog. But you know what's weird is that like all my favorite athletes are major underdogs that overcame every obstacle to become superstars in sports, except LeBron. There was zero shot that guy was not going to be an NBA superstar. They named him LeBron. His mom came up with the name LeBron James. That's a mega star name. I never heard the name LeBron in my whole life. I still am like, where the fuck did she get that name from? And then I heard like some ancient, like fucking far away French nobleman was named LeBron, and I was like, that's the second guy in history I've ever seen named LeBron. There's that guy, LeBron James and LeBron James Jr. I remember watching him play the Pistons when he was very young. Like, I've seen him play in person. And I remember thinking, oh, this guy's not going to be that good. What's everyone so excited about with this guy? Because you got to remember, I was new into sports. I was like, 12 years old, 11 years old, talking my shit, trying to figure out what I didn't know much about sports. Watching this guy beat up on the Pistons, do terrible things to my favorite basketball team. I was like, oh no, he's going to be really good. And he was. He just turned into a whole monster for most of them. I was like, damn it, this guy's so good. I hated playing the Cavaliers. It became one of them things where I'm like, I don't even like watching these guys. Why can't the Pistons just beat these guys anymore? Yeah, football. You know what's crazy about my sports watching like today? Football was the last sport I started watching regularly because I started watching baseball in about 2003. Hockey in like 1998. I started watching hockey. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. If you grow up in Michigan, one of the things you're very early exposed to is hockey. If you grew up in the 90s, I think it's still common to this day, but like you're indoctrinated into the cult of the Detroit Red Wings. What's up, Shlomo? Upon birth, even if your family really doesn't even fuck with hockey, it's like every person in Michigan's a hockey fan. The second it's like the NHL playoffs and the Red Wings are in, it's like all the news stations are playing hockey games. Like everywhere is playing hockey. Like people you didn't even know like hockey. I have a Red Wings shirt if we're in the playoffs and shit. It's like I didn't even know you liked hockey. I don't, but like, it's just something that's like deep in my soul. I don't even know what it is. It's like I think we all got weirdly indoctrinated in the state of Michigan to become Red Wings fans. Even Kenny, who kind of is like split on his teams is like a diehard Red Wings fan because he lives in Michigan. It's like it's very odd. People are still very firmly on the Jordan side, but I'm starting to see more cracks through for James because it's like, yeah, I understand that, the titles thing is always going because that what Jordan did for them 6 years. I'm not going to take Jordan's career was unreal. He's literally the greatest player, but it's like, man, it's so hard to just say that with LeBron holding all the. Does he hold all the scoring? Like, is he the leader in like everything now? But like it's like LeBron like has got to be like up there in assists, rebounds, points scored, fucking minutes played, like all these like incredible statistics that he moons Jordan in half of them. Like in some of these, he's like so far ahead of Jordan. It's like it's almost impressive how much more more skilled the guy was at certain things in the game. And it's like, is that the only thing? Is those 6 titles? Because, like, yeah, that's greatness, and it's awesome, but LeBron did win 4 of them and went to 4 more. Like, it's like, as, like, the only reason that those teams were probably going to those title games. And a lot of those games, them early Cavs team, unless you really count 19th year fucking Shaquille O'Neal, who was, that wasn't very pretty. I guess the comparison would be Peyton had even better statistics, but Brady still had the 7 rings. Yeah, if Peyton had better stats, it'd be like, or if like Rodgers had better stats than Brady. Brady just also happens to be the all-time stats leader. So it's like, yeah, he's clearly the GOAT. But like you can make a very strong argument for somebody else who had better statistics. That's why Marino's in the conversation for greatest of all time with a lot of people. He's top 5. He didn't win shit. You know what I mean? Because again, do we hold the lack of rings against somebody? Or is it, if it's only rings, then it's like, isn't Robert Horry like the greatest of all time? Doesn't that fucking dude have like 11 fucking rings? It's like, yeah, I understand. I get the ring argument. Trust me, I get it. It's because like Jordan was the lifeblood of those teams, but it's also like he also never won another thing without that specific roster. Like there was like 3 or 4 very specific players on those Bulls teams that once they weren't there, they didn't win those titles anymore. So I would see that as a team that was really good. Most of those fucking teams that LeBron were on, the only consistent has been like LeBron James, except for the 2 he won in Miami. It's like that team was consistent. Everything else was like LeBron in Miami once, twice, and then he went to Cleveland. He won again. Then he's out in Las Vegas and won, or Los Angeles and won again. I don't know. I find the 3-team thing very impressive. And also how good LeBron's been late into his career. Fucking Jordan didn't finish as strong as LeBron did. No, like, I don't think it's anywhere close. You can look up his end. It's like, man, them Wizards teams were fucking garbage. Is that Marino's playing now? He'd be doing like 6,000 yard seasons and 60 TD. Yeah, probably. Did he win? Or when are they announcing? I don't think the awards are till February 12th, correct? It's the Saturday before the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's the 11th, maybe. Yeah, it's probably the 11th. I would imagine it's always it's always like that Saturday, I'm pretty sure. I don't think Purdy should be O'Roy. I don't think he played enough games, because if that's the case, then Breece Hall should be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Like he was clearly the best offensive rookie. If you tell me he didn't play enough games, then it's like, well, then neither did Purdy. Like, Breece Hall carried the Jets to like 6 wins this year. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, that was him. He was their 99% of their offense to begin the season, and then his leg blew out. His ACL just was like, I give up. I'm so glad, by the way, the NFL is moving to ban them fucking tackles that are messing people up really bad right now. The hip drop tackles. I'm glad they're gone. And I feel so bad for defenders, because they can't do anything. But, like, you know what's been killing players? Them tackles where a player grabs them, it's the desperation tackle where a player just drops the hips out. And it's just, and you know, it's what fucking destroyed Tony Pollard's leg. That tackle is being done away with. That also has been tearing ACLs, rupturing goddamn Achilles heels all season, causing numerous high ankle sprains. I'm so glad that they pointed out that specific tackle is what caused the major increase in high ankle sprains this year. There was like a record number. There was probably, I think it was like 200% increase on high ankle sprains this season, which was crazy to think about. Have you ever seen a season with more high ankle sprains in your entire life? Think about it. Think about how many players suffered high ankle sprains this year. There are like 3 guys a week having one of these happen, to a varied degree. Unless we're getting way better at diagnosing injury, and maybe like the high ankle sprain that Patrick Mahomes had in the past would have just been a low, or like just a bad ankle sprain, not like a high ankle sprain, but also just more of like a no, he just twisted his ankle up. But now we're getting so good into being able to diagnose and quickly diagnose injury. I'm wondering if, like, yeah, they need to go back to natural grass. That's happening, or at least a very smart version of the grass that was created in, I believe, up at Harvard or MIT. I think it's what the Patriots use, and a lot of teams like that. A lot of teams like this hybrid grass. It's very soft, but it doesn't have like concrete underneath it like normal. Like it's like a smart turf almost. Von Miller was talking about it and like trying to like explain it on the Pat McAfee show, and then they just kept making fun of him because he was calling it like super turf, and that's basically what it is. It's either go natural grass, or if you want to do what the Patriots use, then go with that. You notice the Patriots don't suffer injury, and they use turf, but it's like it's a very smart version of turf. It was made by MIT or Harvard, or one of them fucking engineering schools in Boston, and I think everybody's using it now, or that wants to keep using it. Tennessee, I think, is using it. The college, they have a very good field. Again, it's just there's a very specific version of turf that's the problem. Most turf is just grass, and it's just really hard, and it sucks ass. Like, that's the biggest problem. And that alone wouldn't be enough to fuck, because again, they do put rather thick padding down, so it's not like it's like too bad, but it's like the problem is there's these I don't know if you've ever looked at what turf looks like, or like imagine how it looks so nice. And not grass-like. It looks kind of like carpet, right? Well, that's because they're using a very specific kind of turfing called like a honeycomb turfing, which is basically like the way it looks is like this. It's like a shape of it's like an entrapped thing. It's like, I don't even know why they would use it. Like, it grows. It's like this. It's like, you imagine what happens if your foot gets stuck right here. Your cleat gets stuck in one of them little like fucking grabbers. And that's what's been happening to guys. Like, that's literally been taking people out. A lot of those things it's been brutal on ACLs. You ready for NASCAR? Hell yeah. Yeah, that's been the biggest problem with turf. I don't think it's hard and it's shitty and there's not a lot of give, and that's been awful on knees and joints. But I think the bigger problem is the fucking honeycomb shit that grabs at your cleats. And if your foot gets stuck and you try to make a sharp cut, just imagine you're running right at full speed. Your foot gets cut. You don't know it, right? Your foot's stuck and you go to make a hard cut on that leg and it's caught the opposite way you're turning. Like, plant your foot hard and then very slow. Don't do it hard because you'll fucking tear your knee up. And then like twist on the and start pulling your foot the opposite way and then try to like cut the opposite way your foot is falling away from. It's like, whoa, okay, yeah, that hurts. You'll start to feel like weird pressure in your ankle, then weird pressure up in your knee. And now imagine you're getting tackled. Whoa, and they hit you good and you're... Yeah, dude, because your foot gets caught. Like, that's why that shit's bad. That's why it's a death trap. And, like, the Giants and Jets used it. The fucking Lions used it. Yeah, I mean, it looks nicer. Yeah, and it's less expensive, but, like... Dude, I'd literally have never gone off grass. I would be like, guys, I don't care how much it costs as an owner. I'd be like, I don't care if it costs $10 million a year to maintain this field. It doesn't. At least I don't think it would. I hope it wouldn't. But like, that should just be a cost to doing business. Learn what literally every European soccer field does, because they all use, a lot of them, like 80% of them use grass fields, except for when they let American football come on, then they bring out turf on top of their grass fields and it doesn't get damaged. It's like, learn how to fucking run a stadium like the Europeans do, you dipshits. Rebuild your stadium so that you could have, I don't know, a fucking grass field that comes out. It's 2022, guys. It was 2023 at this juncture. We can, have smart fields, you know, that like go, like you could actually like have sectioned fields that like come together and you never know that they come apart because they're like fucking pressure sealed and like with like huge like crazy locking mechanisms underneath. So like the field will stay together and like you have sections of grass that are like, I don't know, pulled off to the side and like put in like these little parts that are like super heated, or like put in the perfect temperature environments for like these patches of grass, watered at the perfect thing, so they're always in perfect prime optimal condition when they're wheeled out. But hey, whatever. Oh, I want to use the stadium for something else. We got to wheel the grasses out. Nope, no. There's other paddings that can come out from underneath the ground. You just go, all right, let's go to section 4 for the black topping. So that way they shoot the black padding out, comes up, forms underneath, locks up underneath, so nothing can break, nothing can fall through. It's just like the field playing. And then all of a sudden, you don't have to ever worry about a concert, a carnival, or any of the things you might use your massive stadiums for. This field the ground getting destroyed because you're using different sections of ground on your ground that is forming underneath because it's a stadium field. It's like, it should be done so much smarter than it is. Yeah, it's like they should. There's like smart stadiums in Europe. All the stadiums are built like this in Europe, I'm pretty sure. This isn't like a groundbreaking concept. Like, it's literally like literally just have sections of grass that you can remove on an automated system, and then you put that grass underneath the stadium where it goes into a separate little spot where it's cared for and maintained by gardeners, or an automated system even. And then you just bring out a fucking blacktop or fucking concrete on another. You could have 2 settings: stadium mode, or like concert mode, and fucking game mode. There you go. Literally, it's that simple, that cheap. And I'm guaranteeing that's not an expensive floor pan. And I guarantee you, long term, you would save so much money doing that. I don't know why they're not doing that. Like, that seems like the smarter way to do it. Have a changeable floor. Like, be like, you know, I only need like fucking the middle of the stadium like that. The rest of it can just be built normal. I only need like 300 yards worth of shit like that done like that. I need like twice the length of the stadium this way, and then double the length of it this way, and, you know, double wide, double long, That way we're good in all ends. And 90% of the time we won't even ever touch the other side. It's only the middle of the field that we want to mess with. No, because like the only reason they care is so they can turn it into a fucking concert hall and make a shitload of money, or if it wants to be a carnival like the Fords do. Because sometimes Ford Field turns into a carnival. It'll be literally an amusement fair, like where they'll like, I don't even know how the hell they do this, but like they turn it into a full on like a fair, like a park. Like there's like roller coasters and fucking Ferris wheels and shit. I'm like, huh? How in the world did they do this? And I think a lot of owners do that with their stadiums in the offseason. No, they do a lot. They really like using them stadiums in the offseason. They make them a lot of money when it's not football time. A lot of them turn them into monster truck rally plate. Like for some reason, a lot of football owners like to put on like monster truck rallies. I think you could also get more wrestling, like major wrestling pay-per-views to come to your city if you had an easier to care for grass, like to grass to like hardwood flooring or like cement flooring, which could put you in line to get a WrestleMania down the road, which is always a big boon to your economy, or any kind of local WWE pay-per-views come through. Yeah, I think they do. I think they probably would really like something like that. It just opens up so much if you have a changeable floor. Which is, they sometimes use them for March Madness, which is stupid because what do you use? Yeah, I understand, like, it can be kind of bad for, like, seating, but again, you should use the stadium for what it is. You know, it's a very usable piece of land with multiple uses possible in it. I think only using them for football is a horrible waste of that land. Horrible waste of resources and tax money, and just like you gotta understand, they gotta do more with them stadiums for the people that paid for them. I think it's a little, it like feels bad that they're kind of just using them for just for football games, unless they like probably like paid for it themselves. Like if they're like, hey, I paid for every bit of this, then it's like, all right, well, it's his. He can do whatever. It's kind of lame, not very fun of him, but he's entitled to do that, I guess. His stadium. But like when the public pays for it, I kind of do like that they put on like these monster events and these like good times, and they're keeping the stadium busy because they're like, the city did pay like fucking $500 million, probably should give them something. Yeah, they charge them to get in, but it's like still the owner organized the fuck out of it, you know what I mean? Like they had to put the whole thing on. It's not like they just went, well, somebody will call us wanting to use the stadium. They just sit by the phone and wait. No, they're like calling up fucking tours. Hey, you guys want to use Ford Field? We could turn it into a stadium. You know how nice it is down here. Nah, the crowds are still Detroit crowds. They're pretty fucking, yeah. All right, you're not coming? All right. Never mind. Yeah, they don't want to come to the Detroit crowds for some reason. Why? A little too much. Well, last time they screamed at Dave Chappelle because he was high, and I didn't even know that was a problem in Detroit. They were really pissed off that he was high and not doing good at the comedy. I've never seen anything quite like that. They were mad as fuck at Dave Chappelle in Detroit because he was high and unable to do the comedy. I'd have been like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Dumbass is so fucking stoned. They also run into the public sometimes, which is cool if you get the chance. Yeah, they do. I like when stadiums do that. It's my that's why I'm kind of pro stadium for public funding, but they need to use them a little bit better. And that's why I think they need to learn the swivel stadium floors. Because again, I think that could allow more high school events to be safely used for, I don't know, again, I'm just thinking out loud. I also don't understand how every single modern stadium isn't made with retractable roofing unless it's for basketball as well, or hockey, you know what I mean? It's like, why, what the hell? Why isn't this a retractable roof stadium? Well, why is your baseball stadium built with an open roof in Minnesota? Well, we like the open air, eh? Doesn't it rain all of April and most of May in this fucking state? Yeah, but all through June and July, it's really nice. What about the other months? It's not very nice out in Minnesota every other month of the year, buddy. It's like, oh shit, why'd you guys make an open air stadium then? Your football stadium has a closed roof. Yeah, but that's because it gets cold, eh? So you play baseball in an open air stadium, but football in a closed air stadium. You see how crazy that sounds, Minnesota? Do you see how you got that fucking backwards? Yeah. Let's play our sport where it's very hard to play outside and for all but 2 months of the year. And then it's blistering hot outside for those 2 months where it's not literally freezing cold or snowing or raining. Yeah, Minnesota's got crazy weather. I wouldn't want to live there. Like, it's like Michigan, but amplified by like 30, because all that state is a pile of lakes. It's disgusting. Do you know how many mosquitoes are probably in that state? That's all I think about with Minnesota is like, oh. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta reply to a message. Anyway, sorry about that. Did you guys hear there was a Conor McGregor fight finally announced? He's going to be fighting. The old GOAT Conor is. I don't know if he's really the GOAT. He's pretty good, but I don't know if he's the GOAT. Him breaking his leg in a UFC fight kind of feels like that's some weak shit, but, you know. Personally, I would never break a bone in a UFC fight. But, you know, I'm built a little different. I'm excited. Some Michael guy. It's an American versus the Irish. So basically an American versus, like, you know, a proto-American. I don't know what to call the Irish except, like, this is what Americans used to be like before they became civilized and left Europe and got out of the backwoods of Europe. These are proto-Americans. Ooh. Notice how feral they look and hungry. Fucking Irish people. I hate most of Europe. I have no use for that continent. You know, I only respect the Dutch and the German on that continent. Everyone else just kind of sucks. It's like, ugh. How do you guys fall to Germany so many times? They're the only ones here that are any impressive. And I guess the British, kind of. Yeah, they're basically just what kind of filled the country up. Prussia? Yeah, you already know. Yeah, Prussia. They got the great history. They got Prussia, Germany. They got the Sudetenlands. They got Czechoslovakia. They got all the cool land. They got all the good shit out there. But, you know, it all got kind of fucked up, you know, in like the 30s or, you know, things got kind of messy in the 1920s for that part of the world. And, you know, we lost a lot of good land. We had like Austria, Hungary, and I'm like, man, those are all like the geniuses of all time all came from. If you look it up, I think like all of the smartest people in world history all came from like that part of the world. It's like, that's pretty crazy. It's like, how did that happen? How did all the smartest people in the entire world all come from fucking the Germanic kingdoms and Italy and Germany or in Greece? That's where that's all of them are basically from there. It's like them 3 spots and a bunch of Arab dudes in math. And that's pretty much, you know, where all the knowledge came from. The fucking, them weird German people. So like the Rhinelands. Yeah, Islamic history, Arabic history is probably even more fascinating than European history. Them motherfuckers are so smart, and then they just decided, fuck all of it. It's just like, oh, Why'd you guys do that? Your religion doesn't even call for that. It's called Wahhabism, and it's one of the greatest plagues on that. A very, very awesome. Like, before that happened to that religion, it's like, wow, that's actually a pretty solid thing. These people are whooping ass. The whole world is basically explained through like science that is inspired through God and shit. It was very interesting. And then when some Wahhabists got involved, and the Christians were like, no thanks, and the Jews were like, get out of here. And then something happened with Islam where some of them were like, yeah, we could use you guys. And that's basically what happened in Saudi Arabia. And that's how the version of Islam you guys know today took over. Plus also whatever happened in Iran, which was probably funded by the Saudis. Now they don't really get along that great, but, you know, whoops-a-daisy. Sometimes when you fund a revolution, it doesn't go your way. My greatest prediction, I think, is that Iran will revert to Persia before my death. Yep. It is the story of the 21st century. Yeah, I would say so. I would say Iran's probably, even heading into this is the most fascinating thing. What does Iran do next? They're on the border of like a major revolution. I'm not even kidding. If you don't follow like the news in Iran, it's not being televised for a very specific reason, because they're about to not be Iran anymore. I don't think that's going to be a country for much longer. Maybe 10, 20 years before they just go, and we're called Persia again. What do you mean we're called Persia again? Just, we're not Iranians. I don't even know where that came from. We're called Persia. Okay, alrighty. They're going back to being Persia now. They said they do math and they're open to the world again. This is pretty cool. I'd probably go there. I'm not even gonna lie to you. If they got rid of some, you know, the way that they kind of do things now, I really want to go to Iran. Like, I'm like, man, there's like so much fucking history of the world that happened in Iran. Like, oh my god, dude. Like, every curious part of my brain's like, I want to go to that country so fucking bad, but I can't because they might kill me there. But if they just go back to Persia, I'll be like, I'll be welcome there as a scholar. This will be awesome. Yeah, by the way, that used to be a part of like Persian culture in their kingdoms. They used to like welcome people with like religious or academic pursuits into their kingdom with like very like high prestige. They like let you come learn at their universities for free. Like, it was like they wanted people to come, at least when they were Persia, because they're like, yes, come to our great universities, our prestigious learning centers, come learn of the great history of Persia. It's like, hell yeah, this place rules. And they also loved the West. That was the craziest thing. My dad lived in Persia, Iran. What eras? When was Persia ever called fucking education or academia or academics knowledge? When can you point to at any point where Persians were cold to academics, learned men going into their learning centers and spreading knowledge? That's like part of Persian culture. That's why they were so intelligent. That's why they're so, I don't know, that's why it's such a fascinating fucking empire all the time, is because they were able to, I think all of the Persian empires that popped up were like that. Yeah, I mean, like, things kind of went shitty after, like, you know, like the 1800s, when they kind of, you know, slowly became Iran. But like, my dad lived in like Iran for a while. Shit was pretty cool back in the times. But like, you know, then things kind of changed when the revolution happened. the first revolution, you know, in the 60s. My dad, you know, it's kind of cool. My dad was there for that. All right, there we go. Sorry, I just had to reply to a message. I apologize. You want Cyrus. Right now, it's up to the youth. I think the youth want Cyrus. The vast majority are tired of that shit. Like, aggressively tired of it. They're like, man, this sucks so much ass. We know how much better the other world is. It's like, what do you mean this sucks ass? Dude, like, I want to be Islamic and I love this. I love our religion. We don't have to live like this, man. Like, we don't have to be like this. We could be like our fucking Persian ancestors. Just worship Allah and fucking, be like the greatest mathematicians on earth. Like we used to be considered. We used to be considered a place of math and science. One of the greatest places to learn maths and science. Cyrus was Alexander's hero. Very interesting foreigner to Western. Yup. You don't really like the Pro Bowl? Why not? What's wrong with... I understand that flag football isn't very fun, but like, do you prefer the alternative where the defense doesn't try? Or do you think they should just quit the Pro Bowl, just not do it? Like, because that's the alternative. Like, at least they're trying to like change it up and like, I'm going to give it a shot. What if it's super entertaining? Like, we're getting all these crazy one-handed plays and like everybody's having a good time. Nobody gets hurt and it's like entertaining as fuck. Like, is that all you can really ask for? I think what they need to do, the number one fix is to move it back to after the Super Bowl. That's how you fix 90% of the problems with the Pro Bowl, I'm telling you. I agree. I don't think football is sensible to have this, but I also understand why they want it still. It's one of them things where it doesn't make sense now to have it. But like back in the day it did, because people weren't like as hip to like I don't think people were as good as I just don't think people were smart, and they just kind of, it was like an unwritten rule, the defense just didn't really try. And people kind of like now are like, well, this fucking sucks. What is the defense doing? It does make more sense with because like the two best teams typically are playing for the Super Bowl, or at least two playoff teams that are loaded with Pro Bowlers can't send any other teams in. And some guys who just finished in those divisional games or in those championship games might have really fucking sour feelings still. So like you'll see a lot of like losers of divisional or conference championship games just take off too and be like, I'm not doing the Pro Bowl. Fuck that. I'm in a bad mood. It's just like, at least give them, maybe in 2 weeks, they'll be like, I'm calmed down. I'll go do the Pro Bowl. Not a big deal. They're like, all right, it's been 3 weeks. I'm not fucking mad anymore. Again, I think you lose a lot of guys placing it right before the Super Bowl. I think that's a stupid time to put the Pro Bowl. It's mainly we're losing the Super Bowl teams. We're losing like, I think we lost 14 Pro Bowlers from the Chiefs and Eagles combined, because the Eagles sent like 9 guys to the Pro Bowl that like every single one of them had to take off. They were like, can't do it now. So there's 9 very deserving Pro Bowlers, I think, gone, and I think the Chiefs sent like 6-7 guys. So it's like there goes two of the AFC and NFC's, like some of their best players are not going to be in the Pro Bowl. So it's like, oh, what the fuck is the point of this? Yeah, I get it, but it's like the Pro Bowl is always. Like, why was it everybody liked the Pro Bowl after the season? Not one person ever bitched that it was after the season. The NFL just went, what if we moved it to before the Super Bowl? And everybody went, why would you do that? And they went, let's see how it goes. It seems like everybody loves this, huh? And everybody went, no, we all hate this a lot. Move it back. And they're like, can't believe this is doing so well. Yeah, they experimented with moving it back like to where they did. The experiment was this, and they're just seemingly going, all right, so we see the problem with the Super Bowl. The Pro Bowl isn't it before the Super Bowl. It is before the Super Bowl. That's like 80% of people's complaints. Because most people expect the Pro Bowl to be a bullshit game where nobody tries anyway. I feel like most of the problem is when they play the Pro Bowl. It's just like, I'm telling you, I know that sounds like such a minimal problem, But I feel it in my gut that that's 90% of the problem with this game. And I don't know why that is, but I'm like, man, I feel like other than people going, it's just kind of a boring game. It's like, yeah, what do you think they're going to try that hard in an all-star game? No, no one does. But I think what it is people who see it, it's like a bunch of guys who aren't playing for the Super Bowl. They have 8 months off. Like, what are you afraid of? I think it puts this weird expectations where the guys should try harder in the Pro Bowl because it's like they have their seasons ended and they've had like a couple weeks, like they should be good to go. Like, I don't know. You didn't know? Yeah, Goodell, it's hilarious. Yeah, Goodell, Goodell walks out and like gets ready to get booed. Goodell is very aware of his popularity with the fans. Yeah, I appreciate that, by the way, everyone. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, Goodell is very embracing of his he understands. I don't know what he's a very good sport about everything. Which is very I don't know. I'm very alone on this, especially as a Patriots fan, which is you guys are probably about to lose. You're probably about to be like, what the fuck? I like Goodell as the commissioner of the NFL. He makes some dumb fucking decisions with punishments, and I hate. Again, I'm so glad he decided he's done making punishment decisions because he's so bad at that. Since he stopped doing that, you notice a lot more people have a lot less Goodell complaints. He does a lot of things very, very well. Like literally under his time as GM and commissioner of the NFL, dude, the game has gotten so much better. Like, it's grown fucking 9,000 fold. It's in fucking international markets. It's going to more international markets. It's in Mexico now. It's going to be in this and this. Like, with like long, like developed standing. Like, Germany's going to have games for a long time. England's going to have games for a long time. And now other European countries are kind of like, is it actually that cool? Like, they're all kind of going, wait a minute. Like, and like the game has just gotten so big and every team's making a lot more money. The value of teams have gone up like from 200 million to buy the Patriots. I think Kraft paid to, I don't even think it was that much, to be in the Patriots well over $4 billion. It's like, dude, like, and that's like every team in the NFL is worth crazy amounts of money right now. And that's a lot of that has to do with Goodell. Like he's made a lot of very good decisions, business wise, with in terms of like rules wise, and like hiring the right people to make the right decisions for the league in terms of rules, making the game safer, putting the right guys to like hiring the right people is a sign of a very good, competent leader. And one of the things he's done is he's hired people who are so competent in things of like research and development for safety, because the league's gotten safer since he took over. The understanding of like learning how like concussions and everything. Once they actually pay attention to things, Goodell puts like unreal people behind what he's putting people behind. It's baffling how good he is at hiring people. Like, have you ever really, other than like the commission, other than till when he lost the shit, I don't even know how he lost the relationship with the former head of officiating, but like before he had lost the officials, which have gotten pretty bad. That right now is really bad. The officiating situation, they got to get that resolved. But the problem is like, how do they do that? Right? It's like, because the second they move to make a ref union that they control themselves, that like they hire the refs, all the refs are going to stop reffing NFL games. So they would have to very, very quickly and very, very quietly create an entire fucking unit of referees that the NFL trains, makes, and has ready to go, kind of quietly underneath, unless there's like some guys already, like the new refs are all like fucking plants. And like they're part of this like new union of refs that are going to come up that is owned by the NFL. Like they're NFL refs. They're hired by the league. They're controlled and employed by the league, so they can become fined and put in trouble by the league. Like, I don't know. I think that's. I hope they're doing something like that, because the reason you can't openly do that is because of the reason I said at first. Most of the refs are annoying, or they're annoying. Yeah, that first. I don't know why I read the blowouts are annoying. And then I just went, refs are annoying. Yes, that was a Freudian slip, ladies and gentlemen. But refs are they're all very smart guys. They're all lawyers for the most part, and they would immediately recognize that they're about to be replaced and be out of jobs, and unless they start taking work with the NFL. And why would they want to work for the NFL when a lot of those lawyers are making silly money off the field? Because they're all in like long-standing legal families, a lot of them, or like they come from like pretty prominent like legal backgrounds. So, little fun fact about NFL refs: a lot of them are lawyers, which is why they're very good impartial judges. By the way, actually, a lot of them are very good at like not really like seeming like they have favorites. Even if they have a favorite team, you wouldn't be able to tell by the way they officiate. And a lot of the times, like the small biases are in your head, just because you like one team and it calls it against it. It's like, dog, they actually called 13 penalties against in favor of your team. They called 2 penalties against your team. Yeah, but them 2 penalties fucked us. Like, yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Shut the fuck up. That ref literally favored your team all game, and his favorite team growing up was the team you played against. How do you square that off? You're gonna be busy for sure, Event. Yeah, I was going to have people come on, but I kind of went long and kind of got long-winded. I feel kind of bad because I was going to have Max come on. I don't know if he's listening right now. I could pop on air real quick and see if he wants to chit-chat. Well, if he pops in. Yeah, I don't mind getting on air and chatting with people. I just don't know what exactly to chat about. Basically, just be a continuation of what we're doing in like this. Yeah, I got Discord. Yeah. Yeah, I can drop the link to it. Yeah, I just yeah, I can drop a link real quick. I don't know if I'm gonna really do any like on air stuff. I might save it for a different night. I don't know. Like I have a night I want to like dedicate to like having like people on and talking. I don't think the refs do, again. I don't think the refs have much outcome factor on the game. Oh yeah. But Paul, if I do have people come on, it's not a big problem. Let me make a link. How many uses should I put in this one? 1? I'll just do 5. Fuck it. Retires after 30 minutes. Let me I have no idea where Evero goes. I was going to talk about that here in a second, too. Yeah, Evero, it sounds like he's going to go to Minnesota. It sounds like all signs point to him heading to Minnesota, unfortunately. There you go, Paul. There you go. It sounds like Ven would be more down. Ven, are you down for now or for Monday? Like planning it out Monday. That way people can like plan for it and like things are a little easier when it's not like all thrown at the last second. Is that you? Are you Logical Fallacy 234 or whatever your screen name is? I don't want to. I gotta make sure that's you because I might delete the. Actually, there's other people can grab it. There's 5 on there. All right, if you're not in the Discord, that link's good for 4 other people. No, I'm just making sure that's you. Yep. Okay. Cool. Monday will be another cleaning off the. We'll call it. We'll do those as the cleaning off the table streams. Is when I have a bunch of people come on, because I like the idea of round table, and I like the idea of just like. I just like the idea of like the idea of cleaning off the table as a concept. Yeah, but it sounds like the Vikings are getting him then, to kind of answer your question. It's kind of, I don't know. I heard him tied to like San Francisco, but it sounds like I think he runs a different defense than what Shanahan's interested in having his coordinator run, which is, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Which is why because they didn't want to hire Fangio for that specific reason. So it's like, all right, well, if they didn't want to hire no, it's more or less just kind of like looking at the season that just passed and just kind of discussing things and like thinking about how that might play in the next season. It's just kind of just cleaning off really just kind of is just whatever. It's more like round table, and I'm like, too many people do something called the round table. So I'm like cleaning off the table. So I think it's a play on the how many people do round tables, and I'm like, mine's gonna be better because we're gonna clean off all them stupid round tables. I think that's how in my head I process the name. I could change it to cleaning off the round tables, and it's just a complete fucking like shit on a lot of those shows that like you know, round table ideas. But that's like very meta of a title, and that's kind of where it sits. Cleaning off. As a Colts fan from childhood, is like, if we get Rodgers or Chase Young, yeah, you guys are definitely in the Rodgers Stroud mark. I think you guys are going to be going for a young new quarterback, though. I think I would almost be willing to bet that you guys are done with old geezer quarterbacks. Had you not just burned through all of the old good quarterbacks that have ever played in Indianapolis in the last 3 seasons, then you guys are a little too, just go with the young guy. It's like, just stop. It's not working. These old rent to quarterbacks in Indianapolis is not the way they're winning a title. You don't have the team to win a Super Bowl anymore right away. You might have to build for a year or two around the young guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're getting, not like you guys have like the Super Bowl team like you did 2 years ago, where you're like, oh, if we replace Luck, we could win a title. It's like, no, that's not your team anymore. That'd be like if the Patriots were like, oh, we're a quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl if we replace Brady. It's like, who do you think you are? My latest short story, because I'm in a craft of fiction class. I want to talk about this. I want to know if this is a good idea for a short story idea. Or, well, it's like the beginning of one. It only has to be it's only up to 1,200 words. And it's a conversation, it's an interview. And basically what it is it's this guy like being interviewed, and what he thinks this is he thinks he's being interviewed by a set director, right? Because he's like he's an actor, and he's kind of like out of it, and he's had a hard night of partying, and he's like, it's gonna kind of start off with him being like, yeah, all right, can you hurry up with the makeup and stuff and get away from me? He's not really paying attention to the fact that he was just handcuffed to like a chair. And that's it's never going to be talked about in the entire conversation about like what's actually going on, like what's actually happening in this like 3 to 5 page kind of like story, right? And it'll just basically be like very vague clues of like this it's a detective, not a set director, talking to this person. And he's just going to basically be describing what happened during the night. And it's just be like, yeah, and like, and he's going to think he's talking to a set director, despite being very clearly in a police detention. And he's going to start like very like becoming aware of like, he's more and more awake and aware and like more and more sober. And he still doesn't realize where he is. And I think the way I'm going to end it, because I can't get into like how everything's going to go, but I think the way I'm going to end it is on the lines of the cop going, where do you think you are right now? And like that line, like that phrase has been stuck in my head for like this entire assignment. I'm like, man, I have to use those words. Like, where do you think you are right now? And then the guy looks around and realizes he's in a police station, and he just admitted to like pretty much like viciously murdering. So I'm going to like unintentionally admit to like killing somebody. Like it's going to be, I have to think about how that's going to happen, but I already have an idea of how to describe like very lightly alluding to like you might have killed somebody, but like you don't know who you're like. It's like a very And it's gonna be he's just gonna be talking about like calling the director's name and the cop that's gonna be talking about all right, well that's not my name, but all right. He's gonna just like it's gonna be very obvious what's happening to the person reading it, but not to the I don't know. I think that's a fun idea. I don't think it's a great idea, but I think it's a good start to an idea. I just like the conversation that can come from it. I want the very delusional conversation, but I want it to just like come to like a sudden end where the cop just goes, wait a minute, where do you think you are right now? Because the guy's gonna get up and be like, all right, I'm gonna get up and go to get dressed for the next shot or something, man. And the cops can just be like, what? No, I just got it in my head. I don't need long to write this. I'll write this in 30 minutes. I type incredibly fast, and it can only be 1,200 words. So it's like, all right, I'll turn this in. I'll get this done fast. The worst part is going to be formatting it in the right way. And since it's an interview, I can do it in a very specific way. I can play with the form. Because it's a forms class. It's like forms of fiction, like of short fiction you can use. And like, I like the idea of like an interview, of like a police interview where it's like, police... suspect, please say. I mean, even do it something as bland as that, so it's very obvious to the reader what's going on. But like, there's this added layer of delusion where the guy doesn't realize what's happening. Yeah, and plus like yeah, it's like a minute a page, and you're just kind of like used to a certain action pacing. Yup, scene by scene, minute pages. Yeah. I thought about doing screenwriting, but I was like, fuck this. I got really mad in a class because one of the people, they didn't like my writing, and I was like, I'm an actual writer. And I think that he got pissed when I said that, the word actual writer. And I was like, dude, I'm an actual like trained writer. Fuck you. And I switched out of that major, or I switched out of that class. I was like, I ain't doing this. I'm a fucking better writer than this loser. No, it's not. It's formulaic writing. Like me, if I went into a writing room, I'd be the ideas guy. No, it's not actual writing. It's very collaborative writing, which is fine. I like collaborative writing a lot, but like that's not what screenwriting is. It's like just making sure your shit happens in a minute and writing dialogue. And being like, and lightly describing what the interior looks like. Like, people who have, like, creative writing degrees are probably far more, like, those are probably what producers got compared to, like, people who have, like, who take, like, screenwriting classes. Like, I think people with, like, creative writing degrees are probably the people who lead writers' rooms more than the people with the screenwritings. And I only say that because it's, like, it's very different skills. Like, you understand story building and storytelling as, like, one of the things that I know so well is like how to tell a story because of like the writing classes I took. It's like drilled into my head how to tell a very effective story within like you only need like 8 words to tell a story. Like, well, you want to know? I think Ernest Hemingway or Scott Fitzgerald. They really, a lot of those guys liked writing short stories, right? Like very short, like microfiction. It became it's an obsession for a lot of writers, right? It's like how few words can I use? And one of them wrote the greatest 6 like word like story ever. It's like it's either for sale, baby shoes never worn, or yard sale, baby shoes never worn. And it's like that tells such a fucking crazy story in 6 words. I think it's for sale because it's 2 words. Baby shoes never worn. You can take that story however many different ways you can. That's Hemingway? Yeah, I thought it was. I knew it was Hemingway or it's Fitzgerald. I'm like, one of these guys wrote like one of the greatest stories ever told, and it's like 6 fucking words. That's why I love writers, dude. I'm like, damn, dude, what a talent. Imagine being able to come up with that. The lottery? No, what's the lottery about? Is the word, why is it? Oh, Brady retiring? Yeah. Yeah, he's retired, Dre. It kind of sucks. No, you're good, Dre. It's understandable. It sucks that Brady retired. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that cool to be able to do that. To tell I like flash fiction. I'm very good at writing flash fiction. Yeah, and they all love flash fiction. All of them did. All of them love micro short fiction, flash fiction. Flash fiction is like the guilty pleasure of every single writer who finds out about flash fiction. They're like, wait a minute, what? Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor Lost, is that bad? Oh, by Shirley Jackson? I might have read it. Is this the book you enjoy, Kenny? Faulkner is actually my favorite of the four. All right, I'll give it a peek, Kenny. Oh, is it short fiction? Oh, it is. Don't fucking pay for your shit. Get out of my face. Oh, that's pretty cool. Kenny's the last person. No offense, Kenny, but you're like the last person who I would have expected to drop a classic short story piece on me right now while I'm talking about fiction. You're a very interesting guy, Kenny. The more I get to know you as you start to get older, you know that? I didn't know that you read short fiction. I write poetry and short fiction. The greatest challenge of my life will be writing a book, because I don't like writing things that long. I don't like things over like 10 pages at all. I like things like right around 2 or 3 pages. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. But my goal in my creative writing endeavors is to write an epic poem in the modern era. So I'm gonna write a full-length, like 200-page story in a poem. It's gonna be one continuous poem, but it's gonna be written in sections like Beowulf. And basically think Beowulf, but I'm going to tell a modern story about the complete collapse of the American middle class. And how, as somebody who grew up in the lower class, who vehemently looked up to the middle class, is like, man, it'd be awesome to live like them. I'm like, these people need to get their shit together, get off the goddamn heroin, and give us something here, the poor's, to like want, to like aspire to, instead of like just wanting to be wealthy people, because that's broken the country. It's breaking people. Like it's either like you're poor or you're very rich. That's what people aspire to. Because if you aspire to the middle class, that's like there's nothing to aspire to. Like, why would you want to be middle class? Why? To get a heroin addiction? Wow, that sounds like fun. It's very sad. It's a very sad story right now. And I don't think there's a story that captures that. I don't think there's been a generational novel written in a while for America. When the middle class stopped being something to look up to in the 2008s, when they fucking when they lost it. Looking at them, I grew up pretty poor, man. I can tell you about 2009, 2010. I just looked at it and went, what a bunch of losers. It'd be better to be rich than to be them. Literally, it literally like just feels like a whole, like the middle class just like lost the thing that you'd want to be middle class. You'd rather fail out or become very wealthy and like fuck everybody on the way up, instead of aspiring to like becoming the middle class. Like that used to be what people should want to be. That should be what you want to be, is right about the middle. Maybe a little upper. Maybe you get very lucky and become upper class. But middle class is what everybody should want to become. That should be the standard. Not incredibly wealthy. That's stupid. Because it's something people burn that way. Too much burns, I feel like, when people aspire to just be rich. I think that causes a lot of broken dreams, a lot of depression, a lot of problems in society. Because it's like, well, I failed at becoming a millionaire. I fucking suck. Meanwhile, you're making like $100,000 a year. You're living better than 99.99% of people ever in history, ever. You're literally living one of the greatest lives ever recorded in history, making that kind of money. And you're miserable because you're not making more. So you fucking move to doing drugs and fucking drinking and being a miserable prick. All because you didn't like aspire to like pass middle, like because you didn't want to be like a very comfortable middle class person, upper middle class. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you fucking depressed? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, well, if you achieve that, I don't understand. That to me was like the goal when I was growing up. I was like, man, if I could get 70,000 a year, do you know how fucking rich I would be? Like I didn't even think about it. I thought it was rich. I thought middle class people were rich. I'm like, I found out my friends' parents would make like 80 grand a year, and I'd be like, dude, you guys are living fucking glorious over here. These people didn't realize. It's like, what are you so fucking pressed about? Again, that's like middle class. That's like lower middle class, upper, like normal middle class. I don't know. That's what I wanted. It was like, damn, that'd be cool. But again, you know, people started swinging at the fences, wanting everything, wanting more, and it broke society for a bit. And I hope we found a way. I hope we find a way to rebound back to more moderation. Not anything about conservatism or like it's just or traditional. It's just I think people are far past their britches right now. Everyone wants the most, and I don't think that's sustainable or possible. Again, you should strive to be the best you can be, right? But it's like if the best you want to be is just very rich, then you're a broken like you're morally broken. Like no one's gonna care how rich you were when you die. You know how many millionaires die and no one gives a fuck about them? A lot of them. A lot of billionaires die and no one cares. Everyone's like, oh, that's just another dead billionaire. That's what people say, by the way. If you die a billionaire, and you know what people say? Oh, good, fuck them. Like, you've heard it. You've literally heard people say that in your life. You've heard people say, ah, good, fuck that guy. Do you think people are going to be real sad when Elon Musk dies with his near $1 trillion? You know, people don't like him simply because, like, I know that sounds crazy. Like, people hate people with money. It's like, yeah, dude. That feels weird. It's not even just because he has money. It's like if he was just a billionaire, that'd be fine. It would be kind of weird. But like he has almost $1 trillion net worth soon. You don't see that as like wildly like, wow. I don't know. It's also incredibly British and European. I think it's bad. It's bad. It's bad shit. It's very greedy. Loss of God. I'm not a very religious person, but it's like, have fun in hell. That's all I say to the wealthy. I'm like, you know, if you were greedy at any point to get those billions, you know you're fucked, right? No, I'm not. It's like, no, you are. If God is real, have fun. Can't buy your way in. Are blogs hard? No, blogs are nice, informal pieces of writing. As long as your grammar's good and you just make sure your grammar's all in check and your spelling's all good and your sentences are good and make sense and they're complete sentences. And you kind of like, you know, make a good point. Yeah, blog posts. I think you can even write with like and use more informal language. I would check with your professor or teacher about it for the class that you're in. But like a lot of the times, those are very informal pieces of writing where you can still use contractions and shit. Like I can't use contractions in my writing. I can't use the word I. Do you know how rare it is I get to write the word I? It's fucking weird. Prose fiction. I like all kind. I don't really have a. I just like short fiction. I don't know, anywhere from 1 page to 25. I think is short fiction usually. I think once you start getting over 25, you're in the weird novella territory, almost. Oh, you can. That's fine. That's fine, Max. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That's my fault. Well, we can plan it out a little bit better too with some topics and everything like that. Yeah, it's like weird. It's like, yeah, it's like 6,000 words. You're kind of past short fiction and into like the weird novella, pre-novella territory. It's complicated. Very complicated. But yeah, fiction rules, dude. We're just making shit up. I enjoy that. I like to write a lot of I like to respond to things in all my fiction, and it's very hard to figure out what I'm responding to. No, I don't write fantasy or sci-fi. I don't like it. You want to know why? And you're gonna think this is the shittiest answer you've ever heard from someone who writes and is a creative type, right? And that sounds cringy, but it is what it is. I think that sci-fi already has its best version of whatever science fiction is with Star Wars and Star Trek. I'm like, that's the end game. Good luck beating that with any sci-fi story you tell. And fantasy, good luck beating Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. Have fun. That's who you're up against. Good luck writing something that's as good as those 4 fucking titles. What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to fucking write something better than Star Wars for science fiction? Marvel movies don't, but they pale in comparison to these movies. It's like, dude, it's like, what are you supposed to do with like Lord of the fucking Rings? It's like, it's just so hard. What's up, Morgan? Pro Bowl sucks water balloons. I'm gonna give it a shot, Morgan. Yeah, I can only have so much mythology. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, how do you get better than? And I fully believe, like, I think those 4 movies completely define those genres. Like, you have to make something so like, yeah, that's how I view that. I'm like, in Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, that is. Can you define another better version of the way magic is used in the universe than Harry Potter? Literally, no. It's like that's the perfect magic movies. It's the pitfall, because once the best version's made, like Lord of the Rings is the best version of whatever Lord of the Rings is. And I don't watch that shit. I have never watched 3 of those movies that I said. I don't think. I don't like Star Wars. I don't like Star Trek. I don't like Lord of the Rings. That's too long. And I love Harry Potter. That's one of my favorite things ever. But I know what they are. I understand the merit that they have. Yeah, that's the point. That's where I'm at. I'm like, well, I will never. You can't write anything better. It's just like, no, that's it. That's the end of that genre. I'm sorry, I don't write it. Derek Carr using it to his advantage. Oh yeah, it's helping Derek Carr 100%. But I'm staying open-minded about the Pro Bowl, Morgan, mainly because I'm like, man. What if flag football fixes it and it's actually really competitive? What if the game's like 28-35 final and it's one of the best Pro Bowl games in a decade because the teams are trying? Yeah, I like cross-genre stuff. I think that's what's going to have to start happening for things to become original again. Plus, Hollywood's going to have to get the fuck away from nostalgia. That shit sucks, dude. Nostalgia is killing creativity. It's like, ugh. That's why people like that 80 for fucking Brady movie, by the way, I'm pretty sure. It's like the most original concept for a movie. I feel like that's come out in like a decade somehow. It's like, how in the world does 80 for Brady, an original concept? That like, it's the only original movie out in like a decade, it feels like. Think about that. Like, have you seen a bad review for 80 for Brady yet? Tyler Huntley, I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you keep all the good teams' quarterbacks, unable to play because their season just ended instead of, fucking after the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's basically, it has to be creative nonfiction now. Is basically those are always going to be the best movies, and those are always going to be original concept. I'm in a class right now about creative nonfiction. I was wondering because I took a nonfiction writing class, and I was like, what the fuck is nonfiction? And I'm like, oh, it's all the books I really like. Creative nonfiction is everything I like. No, creative nonfiction is things like Into the Wild by John Krakauer, the story of Christopher McCandless, stuff like that. A lot of memoirs are creative nonfiction. There's Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and that's considered like the most famous example of creative nonfiction. Also, when Hunter S. Thompson wrote those pieces about the Hell's Angels, yeah, it's all I really like creative nonfiction. I have a That's kind of what I want to do on my YouTube channel. We were talking about this the other day, like the direction I kind of want to start taking some of my videos into is creative nonfiction, where I learn about a story and then I tell the story correctly, and I don't make anything up. I don't exaggerate anything, but I choose how to tell the story and present it in a way that I know how, and in a very interesting way. Um, they're supposed to. Yeah, those are fiction though. Those aren't creative nonfiction. Creative just comes in the way that you present the story in creative nonfiction, and nonfiction is exactly what it is. It's a true story. And the more, yeah, it's not realism. It's a little different. It's a whole different thing. This is literally just actual real, like actual truth. No, this isn't a tradition. This is like, you're missing the point. Into the Wild is actually a real thing. Christopher McCandless really went into the Alaska wilderness and died. And John Krakauer wrote a story about that. Fucking Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Hunter S. Thompson really did that adventure. That was really what he did, and studied that all up. Oh, very broadly, yeah, I guess it's realism to a very broad extent. I hate realism in my fiction writing. I've never written any realism. Even my responses to things like Camus novels that I've written are like completely fucking esoteric, absurd pieces. Like I wrote a story in response to like absurdism, and which one was it? Albert Camus. It's an essay. That contains the myth of Sisyphus in it, I believe. I think it's titled The Myth of Sisyphus. And it's where he talks about the point of not like where he ponders the question of the only question in life is whether one should kill themselves or not, and he posits that you shouldn't because life is absurd. And one of the reasons worth living is is to rebel, right? And like the way you can rebel against the absurd is by like because there's no reason to, like, it's like this whole like existence is meaningless because life is absurd and like random and there's no meaning to life. But it's like a way to find meaning and purpose in life is to rebel, to be in constant revolt. And one of the ways that you can exist in a constant state of revolt is to just embrace the absurd of life and just kind of exist as like a person in the absurd. And that's a way to beat the absurd, right? Like that's a way to live in the absurd, is to just embrace what it is and don't really like make too much of like everything being meaningless or being nihilist. It's a very interesting response from Camus, and it's a very interesting. I don't have it perfectly. But I read this like fucking 6 months ago, so I apologize if I'm off, but I'm closely correct on what I'm saying here. Genre and lit fiction are both anti-absurdist. Yeah, I wrote a response. One of my favorite pieces of fiction I ever wrote was about a guy who woke up and then got a head injury. He just like had a headache and he collapsed. And then when he woke up, he had the ability, whenever he touched something with these two fingers, it just turned to dust. Everything he would touch would turn to dust or to sand. And he basically like freaks out, accidentally destroys his entire apartment building, kills a bunch of people on accident, runs through the woods and is knocking down all the woods because he doesn't really know what he's doing. And he's like having trouble coping with this. And then he sits down eventually and is like, I'm going to fucking, he's like, all right, I'm going to touch my head and just kind of end it, because, the point of this is fucking stupid. And then he decides like, he thinks about it a little bit and decides to embrace the absurd of his new existence, and he winds up creating a very happy life for himself in the future. And I was like, yeah, that's my response to agreeing with the with the document by Albert Camus. I'm like, yeah, I think if you embrace the absurd, even if you have a life as fucked up as this guy, where like everything you touch turns to fucking dust and sand, you can find a reason to exist and embrace the absurdity of that life. He becomes the greatest executioner of all time in the future for himself, where people know that if they commit a crime, there's no way of getting out of it. Boop, you're done, and everybody's fine with it because it's very nonviolent. They just, and it's a crimeless society results in this because people are just like, yeah, there's no point in crime, because there's also no point in housing because everybody lives in immaculate housing, because like the glass he creates or the dust he creates is sand and shit. It's like this stuff you need to make fucking glass. It's like I described it as like silica glass, very specifically as silica glass or silica sand, or like it's like half, it's already made up of glass basically. They just got to form it. So this guy can make free glass out of like garbage. So you take up your garbage to this guy, you take him to all the garbage dumps around the world, and he's just like, free glass. And you can just have like immaculate glass skyscrapers, immaculate glass construction. So basically it's a whole future of like a sky lit up with rainbows. The entire like cityscape is like made up of glass, and it just reflects rainbows all throughout the world. And it's like, yeah, this is what happens. The world is a better place when people don't fucking like decide to kill themselves. You could have a better future for choosing to live. That was basically the point of that. It's like, yeah, that would make more sense. And that's how I like to write fiction. I like to like look at because he wrote that in a response to something else that was written in a response to something else that was written in a response to something else. So I'm like, I'm just gonna jump into this conversation here. And that's one of my favorite things about literature. Is like, if you really want to, you can just jump into a long line of conversations. No one maybe will know your contribution to it, but it might also get published. And then in like a future publishing, you just kind of get popped in there. It's like you don't get any money, but like you're like, yeah, fuck yeah. Or like maybe 50 years down the road, you're dead and people are just figuring out your works. You're like, hey, I'm involved in that conversation. That's the cool thing about literature and responding to pieces of literature that have been responded to throughout history. And you can just do that and then send it out for publishing and explain that in the publishing letter. Like, hey, this is my attempt at this. What's up, Cass? Yeah, I'm trying to. How you doing though? Hopefully you're doing well. It's actually gotten warmer. Like, it's in one of them things where it was like -2 and what was it, like 8 degrees the other day with like a wind chill in the -20s for like 2 or 3 days. So like we're at the stage now where like 28 degrees is like, it's been pretty nice today. So it's like, yeah, it wasn't windy today and the temperature was certainly warmer, so it wasn't so bad. You know, it's bad though when it's like, man, I really like the fact that it was 30 degrees most of today. That was nice and toasty. On the night of December, Moscow time, after Gorbachev appeared on television, the Soviet flag was lowered and the state anthem of the Soviet Union was played for the last. Oh, when they tore down their wall. Good, thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, trying to stay warm. Yeah, it's awful. I hate this time of year. It's so cold. Just be thankful you don't live in Maine. Holy did you guys hear what happened in Maine yesterday? Or I think that was yesterday anyway. Let me pull up Maine at Mount Vernon. Yeah, that would be fun to write a story about. It's Mount Washington. Sorry, I don't know why I thought Mount Vernon. You know, I thought Washington and immediately just went to Mount Vernon. Is that what it looks like right up there today? Holy shit, dude. Yeah, this is what it looked like at times last night. People wearing shorts, pretty much. Yeah, that's what happens as soon as winter's. This was up at the top of the it's like a weather observatory at the top of Mount Washington. This is what it looked like. Isn't that fucking? That's crazy, isn't it? Which is what the weather was. It was the coldest ever wind chill of 104 degrees Fahrenheit, -76 Celsius. Yeah, it was pretty bad up there. This is what it looks like today. Dude, this I think the troposphere dropped into the strat like those are troposphere types. I don't know the exact thing, but it's one of the it's a very rare situation I think where like the I don't know how it's layered. I know there's the stratosphere and then there's the thing above the stratosphere and that's called like the toposphere or like the troposphere. And that thing, whatever that was, one of these TOS words or topospheres dropped down, which is very, very windy. And it's like the winds you see there are like the winds that are sitting above the stratosphere, I believe. Don't quote me on this. I'm very, I've seen the explanation of this somewhere. Fucking bullshit, dude. Come on. Got to be somewhere. I maybe I just know this. Why do I? Maybe I didn't read this on Twitter, and I'm just like I know this. How this is happening. That's here it is. This is where I seen it. Okay, this is what happened. Oh, no, it's the stratosphere that came down like a gangster. Okay, so the atmospheric heights will be so low tonight. Anyone living above 4,000 feet or so, hello, top of Mount Washington, will be in a different atmosphere. It's atmospheric layer entirely, the stratosphere. Okay, so I had some shit backwards. The troposphere is where everything is where it was, but the stratosphere came down from all the way up here at 20,000 down to 4,000. That's what caused that, right? I'm guessing that's what brought this shit down. That's pretty crazy. I've never seen anything like that in my whole life. Something that like intense looking. Makes me sure. Yeah, it just makes you go, huh? Yeah, okay, that looks awful. It got to minus 108 wind chill, dude, with wind gusts up to with up to 32 miles an hour, 132 miles an hour. So it was as cold as minus 47, and then the wind chill was minus 108, with with gusts up to 100. Dude, what the hell? I'm just now like contemplating how low these temperatures actually were. So like it was just chilling at 47 and the wind would make it. No, I'm seeing that weird. No, I'm seeing that right. I'm seeing that right. Good Lord. Math isn't my strong suit, folks. I apologize. I'm an English major, it is what it is. I'm like trying to do reverse math. I'm like, I think that's right. We're just going to say it's correct. Yeah, these are people like 3 days before. They're just like, yeah, it was not so bad a couple days ago. It was so cold. Yeah, I would imagine. That sounds like the literal one of the worst things I've ever seen. I've often thought like, how, thank you, James. I appreciate that. I've often thought like everyone's always like, if hell and all that's real, I've always been like, I don't know if hell's going to be a very warm place. I feel like that place is going to be coldish. It's going to look something like the top of that mountain all over the place. Be like, oh, shit. Movies? Oh, I'm bad, dude. I'm not good for stuff like this. I got the worst taste in everything. I guess my favorite movie series is probably Harry Potter, and then I really like Forrest Gump. I think that's one of my favorite movies, mainly because the acting and the acting of it. And then it becomes real weird, right? It's like, all right, I really enjoy Mallrats, Clerks 2. I really enjoy Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. I like cartoon movies like the first SpongeBob movie was incredible. I thought that was just fine fucking cinema. What else is there really good that's hilarious? You got Kung Pao Enter the Fist. You got Freddy Got Fingered. instant classic type movies. You've got Office Space. I like most of Mike Judge's works. Idiocracy. I see it as entertainment that you can make a very artistic statement in. Yeah, I see it as entertainment that you can make art in. Yeah, it's both. It can be both, but I don't know, personally, I like to be more entertained than to be like artistically pleased watching a movie. I think TV is a better I see TV as more of a serious medium that you could tell better stories in. I don't like funny like I like cartoons, like I like that, but like I really think like good TV is good TV. Like I think like telling a story over like 12 episodes over like even like 4 seasons long over 12 episodes a season, I'm like, that takes some talent to be able to do that. That's like long-term vision storytelling. That's like that's more what I'd look for in like art, like artistic television or stuff like that. I haven't watched TV in a while, I'm gonna be honest. Last thing I watched was could have been Breaking Bad, like 4 years ago. I don't watch. I like outside of sports. I don't watch a lot of TV. But I like more so what TV's able to do. Yeah, well, all those shows are great. Like I don't watch like a lot of TV. Like every time I watch an episode of stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I really like this. I'm gonna start watching this. And I just never watch TV again, unless sports come on. 10 seasons and 22 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. As a screenwriter and film guy, that's the big switch from film to television. As like, yeah, because you have film, it's harder to tell a complete story without getting a few things missing if you're just telling one movie. Like you have to, it's more of like a snapshot of an event, as more like TV is like a series of snapshots. Like it's much easier to like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I think an effective movie would be something over like I like the idea of like a short scale in a movie. It's movies are more like plays, like that can only last a little bit longer because of like the magic of cinema. Did you yeah, novels and plays. Yeah, it's the same, it's a very similar thing. It's just easier to tell stories in TV or novels, and with like plays it's kind of like you can tell a longer, like a few, like you could tell a long-term story, but it's way easier to just hyper focus on like 3 things, 3 like stages. 1, 2, 3. Oh, not for everybody. Reading kind of sucks. It's not as fun because, like, again, you get most of what you need if you're a big TV or a movie fan. If like you watch a couple TV shows, you're essentially getting the same thing as like you'd get if you were reading, or in my opinion, anyway. At least the way I view it. If like you're not just like watching like the Kardashians or some silly shit only. Then I'm like, you're watching something with an incredible storytelling techniques, great camera work going on. You're getting a lot of good artistry going on, like great acting work. Like I personally think TV gets a bad rap. I don't watch it because it's like, I think it's like, oh, it rots your brain. I'm like, nah, if you watch like shitty programming, it does. But if you're watching like high-end produced dramas, I'm like, you're getting the same storytelling you'd get if you read a book or watched a play. Like, it's nothing different. Yeah, it's a lot more like snapshots, like singular snapshots. Whereas like fucking TV is like, it's like a book. It's chapters. You can see episodes as chapters. It's like the translation's right there. You can see like if Breaking Bad was a book, it'd be like a 6-book series because it's what, 6 seasons long. And it'd be like what, like 8 to 9 really long chapters a book, and it'd be a really good book. And like it'd be cool. It'd just be an interesting thing to see. You know what I mean? You could see it where how it'd break down. But like a movie, it doesn't turn into a book as easy. Which is why I hate The Harry Potter movies were pretty solid. They missed some good shit though. You missed so much from the movies, especially if the books go over for a while. Crime and action. Yeah, you could see Tarantino's what's the word? Impression. I'm thinking of the right guy, right? Quentin Tarantino's impression on Gilligan when he wrote Breaking Bad. Yeah. If you watch, yeah. He was a big. You can see the influence all over. Like you can see Tarantino's. Like you can see Pulp Fiction all over that fucking Breaking Bad. It's like it's all over it. It's just like, oh, this Tarantino might have wrote some of these scripts. Yeah, you can see a lot of Coen brothers too. Yep. Yeah, Breaking Bad was incredibly well written by Gilligan, and who was the other screenwriter for that? Was it just Gilligan? Did he write all the episodes? He might have. Trey Parker writes all the South Parks, technically. I think Matt Stone gets a writing credit, but it's like, I think technically Trey Parker... I think he writes it as far as he goes, yeah, that's a funny line. I think the other one just types really fast, so he does all the work. Sam Caitlin. It's a whole team now. It's 8 writers. I was just meaning like the original like episode. It might have been a whole team. Yeah, never mind. I keep forgetting that all of this shit's right. It's writing crews. Not everything is South Park where it's like 2 guys got together and, you know, just made a show and got really, and they're like, no one else can write it. Because when you do that, you run into a lot of goddamn problems. You can just ask the people who showrun Rick and Morty about having 2 writers only write your whole show. Yeah, let's have 2 writers. Why? Well, that's a good idea. It stays consistent. What happens if nothing bad will happen to one of the guys. The first 4 seasons of Dexter were technically that. But hey, we don't talk about the other seasons of shitty Dexter. Dexter was a masterpiece for 4 seasons of TV. Then something happened. I don't know what happened with Dexter, the TV series. It's almost like they ran out of original source material and had no idea how to end the series. They should have ended it after 4 fucking seasons. That's a show that really should have just wrapped it up after 4 years, I'm telling you. Dexter would have been a fucking hit classic. I'm talking literally, maybe, arguably one of the greater TV shows ever. If it ends, the final scene of that show is him sitting with that baby in that fucking bloodied up bathroom. But like having to reap the whole thing. Like I think that's where this book ends. Like I think that's like, or it's like right shortly after that the book ends. Like there's not much after that in terms of like the written story of Dexter that the show is based off of for the first like 4 seasons. And if that wasn't even in there, that's a perfect spot to end the series on. They should have just went end it. Yep, and until Breaking Bad. Really, it was Breaking Bad that did that. Dexter should have. You gotta kill it, dude. You just, when it's done, it's done. And that was when the series was over. Like that was when the series was over. Like that was the way to end on. Like I can't imagine a better way to end a series on. Like that's it. That's the ending of this. This guy's getting everything in his comeuppance. That doesn't let the serial killer get a happy ending. Like that's perfect. But whatever. Yeah, I think that's television. I like the word television setting though. I think the storytelling happening is awesome. It's less rare now to find a good TV show. Yeah, and then they changed it. Now it's way fucking better TV, way better storytelling. It seems like every 4 months a new best TV show ever comes out. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like it feels like every 4 months I hear about some new great streaming show that's blowing out numbers. It's never been seen as great a TV show as this, and it happens every like 4 months. This like same like phenomena where it's like this is the new greatest thing ever created. Like, look at Yellowstone. Like, that came out of nowhere, and everybody loves that shit. And it's just like, yeah, it's a really good storytelling, dude. You don't understand. It's like, yeah, I do. Like Yellowstone, for example. Like I don't know one person who doesn't think that's one of the greatest shows, or at least it's a great show. If it's not for them, they're like, it's not for me, but it's a really great show, man. I'm like, damn, everybody likes that show. Ted Lasso, Sever, yeah, Succession, dude. Everett, like, I haven't heard of bad TV. They're like, there's some bad shows sometimes, but for the most part, we're in like a weird, quiet golden era of television. The streaming era is in a golden era, like it's in a golden era. There is so much creativity popping out. This is kind of what I thought would happen after COVID, by the way. We're gonna start seeing even more good shit start popping up, because we're almost to the point now where a lot of great shit that people were writing in like isolation and like fucking like at the peak of being like stranded for a year by themselves is gonna start. It's like that's the shit that's getting reviewed and being created and being filmed and being like scripted out finally and being finalized. And no, I don't really like superhero stuff. I don't fuck with it. I think it's all bad. I think it reached its logical it's done. Like, I think they need to wrap that shit up. It's overdone. Wow, so what are we doing, dude? Like, they got Oscars in the superhero movies now. We're done with this. We're done with this whole genre. Can we wrap it up now? We're done here. Yeah, I agree with him, man. I'm so tired of fucking superhero movies. Like, they're not bad movies. It's like, come the fuck on. Can we have other movies again, please? Dun, 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 dun. Like, yeah, we get it. You're a Superman. Woo! Let's tell Batman again for the 90th time. Woo! This is awesome. Again, I get why people like superheroes, especially children, but it's like, can we stop making fucking movies for kids? Yeah, it's like, can we start making movies for adults again? Like, so I could want to go to the movies. We made a movie for adults. It's called Scary Ghost Movie. Goes boo. Fuck you. I ain't gonna see your fucking gay movie. I hope somebody died in the filming of that movie now. It's like, what the fuck? That's brutal. It's like, yeah, I hate the ghost movies. That's the only adult movies you get now is fucking ghost movies or some awful, like, fucking way too artistic movie like that they don't even speak English in a predominantly English country. It's like, why not just film it in English and then slap some fucking foreign subtitles on it? Fucking Christ. Yeah, like, I like horror, but I don't like ghost movies. They suck. They're not scary. They play music when it's about to get scary. It's like, and it's like, you get scared? No. Why would I be scared of this? This is fucking, you literally told me you were coming. Yeah, but the music got more high pitched. You didn't know though, because it got high pitched, and then we waited a second. Yeah, I was waiting for the delayed jump scare, by the way. It's like, I knew that was the only good time I've ever been jump scared, like actually scared, unironically, in a ghost movie was in The Conjuring. In one of the ones, it had the fucking Darth Maul demon in it. He makes me laugh when I see him. So after I got over the initial, I was like, oh, look at it, it's my buddy, it's Maul. And it's like they're in the kitchen, right? And this was the best shit, because occasionally Lee Winnell and James Wan aren't retarded, and they're like actual good horror writers. So I don't know why they're doing all these ghost movies. Like they're like the guys who made the original Saw, I'm pretty sure. So it's like, what are you guys doing? You're like good at this. Fucking stop it. So I just expect way more from those two. I'm like, can you stop with these gay ass ghost movies now? Go make something cool again. He's literally the greatest like horror writer, and he needs to make a new genre. It's like, dude, please push all these horror writers away from ghosts. Please, James, like, make a new movie. You started the horror, you started torture porn, you started the stupid haunting movies. Please put another movie out. Like, make something new, please. Make everybody copy you again. But anyway, it's they're sitting at this kitchen table, and it's like two old women talking, and like the haunted Dalton kid, but as like an adult, and they're all just having a conversation, and they like keep flashing between the people. It's really well shot. It's really entertaining. And then like suddenly like the I don't even think they pick up the music for this part. It's just like they don't do the music, and I'm like, it's really nice. It's really nice. And it's like. And all of a sudden, they're like the camera starts panning in on like the mom or one of the women's faces, and she's like looks horrified, and they like flash over to Dalton, and he's like, "What are you?" And then they flash back over to her, and her eyes are like, and then like they flash again, and the thing's right behind. Dude, it was like so well timed and so well shot. To like all of a sudden, like the thing's right behind Dalton, goes rah, and like it like jumps the music at the exact time it shows up. I'm like, that is the most well executed fucking scary ghost thing I've ever seen. That was that shot. I was like, that was the best. Time to end the series to me. I'm like, let's. Plus them Amityville horror movies made in 1974 were fucking frightening. I don't know, like old ghost movies were way scarier. Like, have you ever watched old haunting movies? Them shits were scary. Them shits felt evil. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how the fuck they pulled this off in the 1974, but they might have been haunted, actually, at the filming of that movie. Have you ever seen, like, the original Amityville Horror and then watched the remake? The remake isn't even scary. It's like, oh, this sucks. You watch that old one made in, like, the 80s, and you're like, this is genuinely unnerving. No, Amityville Horror. The Amityville Horror movie. Like, if you watch the remake with Ryan Reynolds, it's not scary. But if you watch the original, it's a fucking frightening movie. I'm not even kidding. Like, genuinely kind of like, oh, this is a really uncomfortable movie. I think it's because people were a little bit better at acting before all the practical effects of ghost movies got added in. But that might be a personal effect. You would think ghost movies would be way better with all the CGI, but they're just not. I think we got to get better actors in them movies instead of using unknown losers. Need a good psychological thriller again. I don't even remember when the last good one was. I should write a thriller movie. You know what I'd call it? Guy in a tower with a shotgun. And he just points it at people. And they have to guess a number between 1 and 1,000. And if they don't get the number right, they get shot. But the twist is, he never actually picks a number. He just decides who wins and who dies. It's called Guy Who Plays God by Shooting People from a Tower. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I think that's like a 10 out of 10 movie. I'll probably win an Oscar for that. I'll film it in Chinese or something like that. So like all the characters will be from Mexico. It'll be one of the most confusing movies anybody's ever seen. They'll be fighting for control of like Antarctica, and they'll be fighting like a army of birds. And everyone will be like, I don't even know what the fuck is happening. But it'll be a good movie. And that'll be like the background plot, but what's happening is basically this guy's just shooting at penguins that they've captured as prisoners of war. If you know what I'm stealing this from, you get some credit. You have to, like, he'll just basically one morning he'll just kind of wake up and stretch out and light up a smoke and just start fucking plaguing out penguins left and right. It'll be great cinema. I'll be called a genius, and the people who know will be like, he stole that. He literally just stole like a cool shot from a movie and made up like 4 things, put it in Chinese, and fucking put Mexicans in. I don't even know what the fuck this is supposed to do. He literally just stole a shot, I think, from what movie is that? Schindler's List? Actually, I stole that from Family Guy, believe it or not. I don't remember where it originally came from, where Family Guy stole it from, but I stole it from Family Guy. Thank you very much. I'm not that fancy. The language choices would be just so I could win an Oscar. Because then it could be a foreign film. Damn. Now, I don't write a lot about murder either. Everyone tends to live through my stories. I don't really like death. I'm like, this seems unfun to write about. So I just write about magic powers and how the world can come to life. Which is a lot harder than you think it might be. That shit gets really complicated to try to write because you got to remember like some pretty crazy logic that you started with the story. Nope. You can dangle a death the whole way through like a carrot on a stick. And then it just ends and everyone's like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, the threat of death. Yeah, you can dangle like a carrot. Chekhov's gun. I'd never let that thing fire. I'd break every rule of fucking filming a movie. I'd be like, all right, let's put a lot of guns in every scene, and they never fire. And then the only scene where there isn't a visible gun, there will be a gunshot. And someone will... That's how somebody will die in one of my movies with guns. The most fucking... Do you know how many film nerds that would lead... Like, if that ever got made into a movie, and I could pull that scene off, where there's a lot of guns in a scene, and it's like a very tense scene, and everyone's like, oh no. And like guns get drawn even and no one uses them and then the scene ends and then like an hour later in the movie someone's just walking down a dark like alleyway and then they get shot in the chest from like you don't see the gun, you never hear it, like you just kind of hear and the person goes oh, just falls over. You know how mad people would be about that? It's like a violation of the like a very big principle called Chekhov's gun. There's a gun you got to use, and I don't use them all. You never see a gun fired. It's only like off screen and vague like noises to imply potential guns or a small cannon. It'll bother people. I'm telling you that'll bother film nerds. Like, you can't do that. Yes, I broke the film law. Anyway, I'm gonna probably wrap it here, guys. It's like 12:30. I didn't even realize that. I've been live for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I appreciate everyone who hung out. A lot of you guys were just here for most of the stream. I appreciate that. We stayed anywhere from 5 to 10. That was pretty good. For whatever this stream was. Appreciate you hanging out, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the likes. We had like 22, 24 likes. I enjoyed the stream. I hope you did. Kind of a little off the, doing kind of way off the bend of sports. But, you know, sometimes, you know, there really wasn't a whole lot of sports for me to talk about. So I apologize about that. But we'll be more narrowly focused on whatever the hell the Pro Bowl is tomorrow. Because I decided I'll get that done. I gotta wake up and do some writing. And just be done with all my writing by 3 o'clock. So not too bad of a deal on my end. Then we can do the whole Pro Bowl, and that'll probably be my stream for tomorrow. And then Monday we'll have like a group hangout where I have people on air and we chit chat with them all. And the story I was writing about that I got to write for my craft of fiction. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I don't know. I don't want to go too much into it because I'm not too positive what I'm doing with all that yet. Just some shit for a class. I gotta get it turned in 5. My least favorite thing is dialogue writing. I'm not very good at that. Because I don't communicate normally with people, dude. It's fucking stupid. Like, I have a weird way of talking. So for me, it's like I can write original dialogue really well, but it's like I got to write more than 1 or 2 people. I have to do college grading now? Oof, that's rough. That could be a little rough. Oh, college reading. Oh, reading, not I thought you said grading. I don't know why I thought that. Reading makes way more sense than grading. Yeah, I should probably be doing shit, but like I'm gonna save it for tomorrow. Tomorrow, Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, I should be able to get all my shit done. So, anyway, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for another fun night of streaming. The stream did really good tonight. I think we actually might have hit over 100 views again. Let's check. 98. We did pretty good. This will have 100 by the end, so this is a good stream. We're doing pretty good. Numbers are going back up. The likes are way up, so that's interesting. I don't know. Views are so weird when the NFL season ends on this channel for a minute. Until baseball starts back up or something, it's weird. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much again. I appreciate y'all. It was fun. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the views and all the comments and everything. Made it for a fun stream. You know, as always, I'll be in the Discord for like another hour until I'm asleep. Yeah, you too, Paul. Thank you to everybody. Have a good night, everyone. Again, see you tomorrow for the Pro Bowl. If you don't tune in for that, then I'll probably see you Monday, or maybe I'll do 2 streams tomorrow. Maybe. All depends. Just depends on if I'm feeling up to it. Who knows? All right, though. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Go Lions, go Tigers, and of course, it's always go Patriots. There's other streams you can always go watch if you want more content, if you haven't watched all the recent streams, and, you know, it has more football opinions and all that fun stuff that you want. All right. Peace out. I'll see you guys next time, and bye-bye.